Hey guys, it's my podcast. Not Jenna, not Jake, not Joe, not Brian, not Jeff, not Lamar, not Luke. None of them, just me. I'm the little kid of this house. And I just farted. Ugh, it reeks.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Horace. Chilling here with my boy JP. This is the podcast. You know what the fuck it is. Undisclosed studio. We got two empty chairs here because we're awaiting our extra special guests who we won't await, or who we're awaiting, but we don't want to give it away.
Super secret.
Super serial, super secret. What you got there, Jake?
My standard go-to nowadays, White Claw, Black Cherry. Comes in 12 packs now. We don't have to fuck around with those bum-ass flavors.
No, we're removing the stigma surrounding White Claws. It's okay to drink it. Ooh. And it's okay to drink anything.
Yeah.
If it gets you drunk, fucking pour it. But always within a moderation. This week, I'm keeping it NA. Got the Weggies Grapefruit Seltzy.
You got some blackberry tangerine over there, too.
The black and tans.
I'll put some lead in your pencil.
Yeah, I got a 12 of that the other night at Weggies, so I fuck with that heavily. Hold on, I gotta open up my can.
Ooh, let's hear it. Gotta silence this phone too.
So I know the Pudheads love to hear that. They love to hear that sound. I don't even know what kind of sound it is.
It just triggers something in your brain, like, oof, I fucking need one too.
Some primal fucking shit. Like the first scene in 2001, A Space Odyssey, when you got like the rival ape men and they're fighting over the shit, and then one of them beats them over the head with a bone. Like you fucking feel that shit it's fucking primal is what I was looking for.
Primal Concrete Sledge. Pantera. I
think you might want to put the ringer on your phone, because when our special guests are going to be here, they're going to send you a sext.
Oh yeah. They might text our EP though.
Oh, okay. You never know.
You don't. Yeah, this is just some...
Speaking of flicks, I was flipping through my Scamazon Grime, which for all you don't know is Amazon Prime. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, for sure.
Road Warrior.
I fuck with
Fucking
it.
amazing flick.
I fuck with
I haven't seen it in years. It's awesome. Sort of funny. And then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Tina Turner. So fine. Want to make her mine. And then after that, I had to bust out Fury Road, a.k.a. Furry Chode.
Still haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Furry Chode?
No.
Dude, I could have brought it.
I know. I don't even have I have a DVD player.
I got the DVD.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were a Blu-ray.
Dude, I can go and get it after. I mean, if you're really down, I don't got to work tomorrow. You don't got to work tomorrow?
Could be.
We ain't got shit to do.
Ain't got shit to do.
It's great. Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron with a shaved head.
Tom Hardy. Whew.
She's hot. He's hot. Yeah. Fuck with Tom Hardy heavily. But yeah, those are just great flicks. I just wanted to give a shout out to them. George Miller. This pud's for you.
I just watched my I'd say annual watching of the Warriors. It's down to annual.
For me, it's either biannual, triannual.
I'm trisexual, baby.
I'll watch it anytime.
Love that shit.
Oh yeah.
Got some new additions to the wall.
New addition, the boy band.
Yeah, added some memorabilia from our last podcast.
Some Schwartz beer.
I got the...
You cut that out of the 12-pack.
I did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm like...
Very inventive.
Yeah.
What's that up there?
That's right here?
Yeah. That's
the High Jivers picture.
Okay. It's Zaxxon's sister.
I bought a shirt from them. And that
Donazan. Shout out to them.
In there, and that fit that little spot perfectly. I got my little Metamucil. Shout out.
We like to keep it regular here on the podcast. In the words of Dick Halloran from The Shining, if you ain't regular, You ain't happy. Or something like that. He said,
like ice cream, Doc?
yeah, he said some kind of shit like that.
You gotta be regular to be happy.
This is Dick Halloran over at the Overlook Hotel. Those family caretakers, we got some real assholes.
They're running amok up there.
I felt really bad when he died. He didn't have to die.
No, he didn't. And he was just protecting his beloved hotel.
He was protecting Danny Boy, who also shined.
Right.
And
shining.
And I heard in the book, he doesn't even die. I heard nobody in the book actually dies. And, like, it's way different from the flick because Stanley Kubrick, he was like an atheist and he couldn't even think to have something supernatural in one of his films. So he just made it that Jack Nicholson was like some, like, psycho drunk. You know,
I didn't understand. It's like, okay, you have this awesome book that you're making a movie of. Why are you such a dick to fucking Stephen King? Like, you do that little slick move in the beginning where it's like a red Volkswagen Beetle instead of the yellow, and the yellow one's crashed. And there's all these weird little symbolism, little fuck yous to Stephen King.
But I could be wrong. But a lot of authors like that, like the color of the car, that might have meant something. Right. You know. Like, who knows? Like, they like to throw a lot of shit like that in there.
I heard the scene at the end where they're in the maze in the book. It was like topiaries coming to life.
I heard that too. Like, the maze comes alive,
right?
To help Dan, or they're trying to get Danny. I think.
I love the scene where Scatman Crothers, Dick Halloran, sitting in his bed in Florida, and he's got that like. It's just
but he's got these. The best part is it pans out. The poster in the background is this naked woman with like a fro. It's sick. I want that poster.
Yo, that would be great to go.
That'd
right
be perfect
there.
right here. If anyone has the hookup of a reprint of that poster, holla at you boys. One scene I never got, and maybe you know what I'm talking about.
I doubt I get it.
At the very end, when the hotel ghouls and goblins are starting to come alive and they're running around and they're all scared. They go by one of the hotel rooms and there's this dude and he's getting his dick sucked. Yeah. And then the person looks up and it's someone wearing a bear mask.
Dude.
Like a really weird bear mask.
Your guess is as good as mine on that one.
What does that mean?
That scene fucking throws me off every time.
It was really weird.
I fucking love that movie though.
So do I.
It's great.
Yeah.
I want to get, actually, for the podcast wall, the alternate poster. It's like a yellow background with this like some creepy little face. It might have been like the European release.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a face. He's like,
yeah,
dude. And segue into that, Dr. Sleep is either out or it comes out soon. The sequel to The Shining
came out this past week. I won't give away dates just for continuity's sake.
It's either out or it will be out.
Exactly. Yeah. I
definitely want to go see it.
Oh, fuck yeah. I think they should have. Although, it's good. I was thinking they could capitalize on, like, the Halloween rush and get it out beforehand. But then it kind of lumps it in with, like, the
Thanksgiving, Christmas, that's, like, the moneymaker right there. So, and there's always a market of people wanting to be scared.
Oh, fuck
yeah. But I don't know. It makes me want to, like... All the new Stephen King flicks coming out makes me want to revisit, or not even revisit, to actually read the novelizations of the books that he wrote based on the films. And of course, you all know I'm being facetious. Yeah. Stephen King people don't come at me. I know the books were written before the film. It's just a joke we do. So
all you pud heads, just enjoy the ride.
I'm just a fucking troll.
Goof around.
Yeah, we fuck around.
They made a series of great movies in the 80s, and then I think around the 90s is when the books came out. If I correct me,
yeah.
They're great. Like I remember when I was a kid, I had the novelization of Rookie of the Year. Fire book.
I had the novelization of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and it was a picture book.
Yo,
I thought it was the coolest thing.
Those are the best to do book reports on.
Because then you just watch the movie.
You watch the fucking movie and you have the book.
And hopefully your teacher doesn't know. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. I'm not going to say I did. I'm not going to say I didn't.
I don't want my credits taken away.
Yeah.
I graduated fair and square.
Because, I mean, God forbid they found out and then I couldn't have my job as a janitor anymore. I mean... At an undisclosed location,
right?
I might add.
Mm-hmm.
But God forbid, I mean, they find that out. They take the mop right out of your hand.
This is cancel culture. You never fucking know. I don't like to dwell on
intellectual dishonesty.
Yeah.
I think I hear our guests. There's some hubbub going down.
Yeah. Should we?
I mean, that's a very good 10-minute like intro. I think that's good.
I fuck with.
I like doing it like this because we get to like riff or whatever, and then we get to have our friends on, friends.
It kind of
breaks up the monotony.
It keeps it the podcast, and then occasionally we have guests.
Yeah.
So
we're not always gonna have guests.
No. I'd like to do.
The stars have been like aligning.
Exactly.
Venus is aligned with Pluto. Mercury's in retrograde. So, I think I hear people coming up the stairs. Whoa. I think we're just gonna keep on rolling. I mean,
yeah, we could. I mean, you could be like,
yeah, we'll just do like a live reveal,
like fucking Johnny Carson, like
Rick and Morty season 4. It will be out by the time this comes out. Oh shit.
Oh my God, he's coming.
Oh no, who is it? It's Jack Torrance.
He's got the fuck.
Our special guest has arrived. Our concierge Jack.
I drink White Claws too.
I was gonna ask you if you wanted them.
But I wasn't sure.
We got whatever you want. We got alcohol. We got seltzer. We got anything.
Alcohol.
We'll send something to the store. You wanna sit
Go ahead
down?
And take a seat.
Yeah.
Pick a seat. Is Brian still coming?
Yeah, he was. He's supposed to be.
Okay.
Here we have our special guest, folks. Tim Stinneford.
And this is your mic.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I've never actually met you in person before. We're friends online.
Yeah.
So I have a gift for you.
Oh, I brought a gift for you guys too.
What?
No
John Cardiel deck. He's my favorite skateboarder.
Anti-hero skateboards.
Yeah, anti-hero skateboards. So.
Andy Roy. He's my
got
dog.
A great podcast, dude.
Really?
I watch it every week. Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Maybe he can come on the podcast.
Dude, he's a fucking
He got his
maniac.
teeth fixed. It looks fucking weird. Like I'm really stoked he got his teeth fixed. It just looks really weird.
It doesn't look.
They gotta like.
They're too white.
My thing, the people that get the fake teeth, they gotta make it look a little yellow or something. You know what I mean?
He said he got the second shade too, because there's different shades.
One step down.
Yeah.
So we have a mic for Tim?
This is his mic right here.
Oh shit! Is that all set up right for him?
It's fucking.
It's good.
Rolling.
All right, good.
It's already rolling. Make sure.
I just want to make sure all the folks out there can hear him.
Absolutely. And it'll pick up both those guys.
I'll set this right here.
Yeah, we'll definitely find a good place. That's sick.
That is fucking legendary.
That's some Day of the Dead type shit.
Yeah, yep, definitely.
That's what's up.
We still have all my old skateboard, me and my brothers. Like, we had a mini ramp in my dad's garage. And, like, anytime we broke one, we just fucking screw it up to the wall. So I got a shit ton of old Baker boards I want to bring in here.
Do you want, like, a beverage or something?
Yeah, I'll have a Corona.
Ooh, with a little lime in there?
Jake hooked me up.
I got all the
Do you have an opener?
Oh, I do.
I don't have an opener.
I do.
Oh, awesome. You're set perfect. I like this.
It's actually a 50 caliber bullet.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's hot.
Thanks for inviting me on the show.
Thank you for being on the show, man. And I don't know if Brian told you, my dad is a farmer. He's a poor dirt farmer.
That's what he said last week when he said he was coming on the show.
Yeah.
Your dad lives right down the road.
So I got you some Horsford Farms gourmet popping corn. You got to make it on the stove top.
No, awesome. Do they sell this at Bailiwick?
They might.
I think I've seen it there.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Because everything there is local. Have you been there? Or?
I've gone by it before.
Driven by it.
Yeah, just because, your dad's a farm. They use all local, like, everything, eggs, everything there. And I think I've seen this for sale there.
That's what's up.
No, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. That's all for you. See, guests, you come on the podcast, you get beers, you get gourmet popping corn. What the fuck? Come on here. So we saved a seat for our other guest.
Yeah,
but
Brian's
I think
he said he's coming.
Well, we can't say who it is. It's it's
all good.
It's a very special guest, but he might make his way up here soon, or not. I mean, it's cool. Like whatever. We're just chilling, hanging. We got tons of beverages,
I
and
see you got the Manipulate 7-inch.
yeah, he brought us a lot of really cool stuff last week. Like Brian set the bar super high. I mean, that's also sick
that's
too.
Well, I see the
legendary.
attitude exhumed over there.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good stuff his brother does.
This picture I'm actually really fond of. I don't know if you fuck with Ozzy. I actually bought this little. It was like a cheap frame at Walmart because I'm like, that's fucking dope.
Yeah, they're
Feathered
obsessed.
hair.
They're obsessed with Ozzy. The Buskies are. Really obsessed. Is that Jeff Says?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
I knew that right away.
Legend of Auburn, Jeff says.
right there. That's awesome.
He was our second guest, I
Was
think, in
he?
the third podcast.
Yeah, and he also hooked up Jake with a bunch of. He gets to sign off stuff at the college, and he kind of helps us out with stuff. He's
cool.
our sage.
Yeah, I went to
Benefactor?
CCC with him back in like
Fuck.
04 to 06. So like I got to hook up with mics and shit, but I ended up buying everything. Need to get a proper camera.
Right there.
Yeah, Jeff.
Thanks.
A while back, probably about 10 years ago, I wasn't
what's up?
dating anybody. Went through this stage of going out
Hello?
a lot to Swabbies. And Jeff
Head on
Says was one of
upstairs.
our drinking partners. He was there every night.
Head on upstairs.
He's a fun guy, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was our special guest.
He
Called me. He's gonna head
where the fuck the
upstairs.
studio is.
I'm gonna take up in a sweatshirt. I don't
Yeah,
know.
get
I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm
that's
supposed
hot.
to be like,
comfortable. We can cut all this
I don't
out.
know how to act during a podcast.
Well, see, this isn't a podcast. It's a
Podcast?
It's a podcast. Anything goes.
And that's one thing is like people get weirded out when we ask them to come on. But it's
Another
like,
guest.
oh, cool.
So our other guest, this is Jack, our
Why don't you introduce him, Jack?
valet. Yeah, you got to say who it is, Jack.
Brian.
Brian who?
He probably
All
doesn't know his last name.
Brian. Dun, 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 dun,
he's got his
dun,
own,
dun, dun,
too. He's
dun,
carrying a
dun,
red
dun,
eye.
dun. Friend of the show,
Yeah, dude.
right here.
All right.
Because I figured if you're going to be chiming in, you might as well be on mic.
Look, he showed up with brand new kicks today.
He's
for
looking
the
good, man.
podcast,
It's hot.
too. A couple
Look at
of
those
old
Vans.
Yeah,
Got
I
some
know.
Vans, old schools. And I got some Genesees over here for you to clean up.
We didn't finish those.
Embarrassingly, no.
Actually, we did, everyone. We did.
Yeah,
They're
responsibly.
brand.
Finished. Dude, you were finished.
Yeah, no comment.
It's all good, brah.
But did you see what I got him?
I got some
Gourmet popping corn.
Oh, that's the good shit.
the good shit.
How's it going, brother?
Oh. Good, how are you?
Good.
So,
Dapping it up.
What up, Doc?
Nice deck.
Brian motherfucking Buske.
Wow. Did you bring this?
yeah, I brought it. They said they wanted something for the wall. So
You should have given this to me.
You shut your pie hole.
That's nice. Good flash.
you gotta respect John Cardielli. He
Yeah.
broke his back, and they said he'd never walk again. And he skates a little bit. He still rips it and rides
Was he
bikes
on-
all the time.
Did he end up on Black Label?
He was on Black Label, and then he's anti-hero since him and Julian Stranger. They started anti-hero together.
Because I remember.
But yes, he was on Black Label. He went from Dogtown to Black Label.
Yeah, I used to have that video Label Kills.
Yeah,
he had
he
a sick
rips,
part in
yeah.
that. I forgot what his music was, but it was like some old. It was like some Johnny Cash or some Willie Nelson, and he's got like
Walk the line.
yeah, he's got some sick like hot rods and shit. He's a badass skater.
I like that. So what got you into skating, Tim?
Just back, I was a BMX kid. I
Okay.
used to race BMX back in the day. There was 2 tracks around here. There was one in Liverpool, on Onondaga Lake Park. They had a BMX track run by Wayne's Bike Shop.
Oh, Wayne.
And then,
wow.
then there was one in Marcellus. So me and my buddy Greg Dopko, I met Greg Dopko. He used to build some,
Shane Woodman's dad.
Yes, Shane Woodman's father. Shane and Sean, my
and
boys. Sean
This
gave me
podcast
a
should
nice.
be called Shout Outs because we just do
I'm glad you edited out some of mine because there was no real content.
it was pure. It just devolved into just shout
I got
outs.
friends.
2 hours.
I got friends.
I know that guy.
Sean Steinbacher gave me a nice fresh cut
What?
yesterday. You got to go get your hair cut
Good.
by him over in Syracuse. But
Yo.
he's a barber.
Yeah.
But back to the thing. Yeah, me and Greg Dopko, we used to race BMX, and just through BMX magazines and stuff, skateboarding started. Like you'd started seeing skateboard pictures in there.
Like, whoa, this is way cooler.
Yeah, and this was probably back in like '84. And we had this buddy, I don't know, he was probably in your grade, Rob Stillwell.
Yeah.
He came back, he went out and he rode with us. He raced BMX with us. And he went on a trip to Ocean City, Maryland. And he came back with a Sims Kamikaze skateboard, which was the Hosoi skateboard, but Hosoi left Sims.
And that was just when the bomb dropped and everybody.
Yeah, so he left Sims and went to Santa Cruz. And Sims changed it was the sun. It was the Rising Sun, but they just put Kamikaze across the bottom of it. So that basically started our skateboarding thing.
So
Rob Stillwell came back from
once
there
you started to skate, did you still ride bikes, or it was a clean break?
No, it was a clean
all
break.
into skating.
Rob came back, and my parents ended up getting me a Veriflex, which at that time Veriflex kind of went from being a really good skateboard to like a department store skateboard. They got it from
a lot of brands.
Yeah, they got me a board from JCPenney catalog, a Veriflex, and that winter we skated in my basement, and then after that it was done. I saved up money. Greg saved up money. We went. Wayne's bike shop also sold skateboards in Syracuse, and he went and bought a Vision Mark Rogowski Gator, who ended up being in prison for killing his girlfriend's best
Same
friend.
with the soy.
Yeah. And I ended up getting a Schmidt Sticks John Lucero, who ended up starting Black Label.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he owns Black Label. But that was our first thing. And then after that, it was just skateboarding.
So was that also tied into punk rock, or was that separately?
Actually, skateboarding got us into punk rock.
Okay.
Because we started getting like Thrasher magazines and stuff.
You're like, what's this band? What's that band?
Yeah, we were always into a little different. Like Greg was a huge U2 fan, and like we're like back then U2 wasn't what U2 is now.
Yeah,
it was like new wave, and
yeah.
So we listened to U2 and stuff and thought we were different, and then we started getting like Thrasher magazines, and we started seeing like bands like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, and like
you two played at CCC, I think, in 88 or 89.
No, you two played at CCC in like 82. They played in the Dome in 88.
Holy fuck.
I worked with a guy before, and he swears he saw him. I think he said it was 79, but he could be wrong.
No, whatever their War album came out, because Jeff Dopko, Greg's brother, Shane's uncle, actually saw them at the college, and he actually used to have a poster in his room from that, saying, at live at CCC.
Awesome. Live from Auburn, New York.
Yeah. But no, you two did play at the college. But no, just from there on, we got into punk rock, and like the first album that really got me was like Dead Kennedys and God We Trust. And God We Trust was just so hard and fast. I mean, we were listening to some stuff, but like this kid at school, his name was Jim Staggerwald. He lent me. He was a kid with like spiked hair. He was kind of popular, but he was kind of into punk too. And he had spiked hair. And you're talking like 84. So when you had spiked hair, it was different. People looked at you different.
You got fucked with a lot.
Yeah. And he lent me. He goes, if you want to really listen to something, here, take this. And that like just changed my like music forever. That was hard and fast, and from there on out,
it was intelligent too.
It was intelligent, like you were listening to lyrics.
It wasn't the Sex Pistols, which is kind of dumb.
That's what we had. We were listening to that. Some Clash, because Clash was easy to get, because it was on MTV at the time and everything. But In God We Trust after that.
Dead Kennedys.
I tried to like
get
anything.
I think the last podcast, that was one of my first.
I think they're the gateway drug for a lot of kids.
Yeah, it's hardcore.
Yeah, because it's hard, but you can understand what he's saying. Yep. You can listen to the lyrics. It's very political.
Yeah, the name kind of drew me in. Like
Dead Kennedys.
That's fucking gnarly. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, and I remember I bought one of their records. Well, it was a CD at On Cue, and I remember my mom. She's like, "The Dead Kennedys. That's so disgusting and disrespectful." And I was like, "Yeah, I want this."
Yeah.
So thanks, Mom.
But she was right. It's disgusting because the Kennedys were trying to do stuff for our country, for civil rights, and to move things forward, and they all got
murdered,
got assassinated. Yeah. So it was tongue in cheek because Jello was smarter than everyone in the room, but he wasn't enjoying the fact. I mean, it's definitely you see that
he definitely wanted you to think about
it. And all the lyrics are very thought provoking, but great name, great band.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Great cover and God We Trust. Jesus on the the money, the
money is
currency.
Crucified. He was crucified on the
brutal.
So were there shows in town back then, or did you have to travel out?
Syracuse used to have quite a few, but Greg Dobko and what was her name, Sheila Deck. They started putting on some shows probably in like '89.
Okay.
Down at the UNC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the UNC. There was
Is
a
that the
couple
one with the
shows.
bowling alley?
There was a bowling alley downstairs
Okay.
there, or in back. Siege Club is the one with the bowling alley.
Okay.
And
This is one on the corner of.
It's on the corner of
Cottage.
Washington and Cottage.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
You can still smoke cigarettes in there, I think.
No, that's the Siege.
Oh, Siege,
The
yeah.
Siege, which is right down the road.
Because it's a private club, yeah.
The Siege is the next block.
No, because
over.
it's classy.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're at a bar. You're you're putting poison in your body anyway.
Yeah.
You might as well be smoking.
Just go
Fuck
fucking
it.
full bore.
Yeah.
It adds to the overall feel of it. I think.
agree.
So, what kind of bands were playing? Were they just local bands, or were there regional bands, national?
The ones back then, I mean, Syracuse would get some definitely bands torn across the country. I mean, anybody from like Circle Jerks to Black Flag and all them played in Syracuse at the Lost Horizon. And then later on, this place called the Elks Lodge, which it was more of a DIY thing. Kids started, it was called Poser, Punks and Skins at Syracuse. Engage, Unite, and React. They started doing shows at the Elks, and they got bands like Swizz from DC, Soulside.
Didn't
Uniform Choice played there, the Radix, a ton of bands played there. Back then, Albany had a big scene, so we would get a lot of the bands from Albany that would come up and play. There was like No Outlet.
Did they play an Auburn show too? I think
No Outlet. I think might have played
Yeah.
Auburn. Yeah. But Greg had some touring bands come through too. Auburn. That's how you would get it, and it was all back then by like either like letters or mail or
mail.
phone calls.
Like, hey man, let's go.
Yeah, it was all phone calls or
Imagine
mail.
trying to
and
schedule it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's how easy it is now. You just
Hey, there's a fucking show going
You
on
look
over
up
at
a
the
show,
UNC
yeah.
club there, bub. Let's go.
It
It's
was-
smoking there.
It was a lot of flyers. You'd have to flyer up everywhere up on the SU Hill because, you wanted the students, because that was one thing about Syracuse back then. You always had a new influx of students. And there was
Every year you got another
Yeah.
crop of kids.
a new crop of kids, and you would always get some kids that were into like, punk or goth. And goth back then, I'm not talking about goth now. It was more,
It was legit.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Susie
Susie and the Banshees, all that type of stuff. Peter Murphy, Bauhaus, like that. So then back then, everybody hung together. Punks, Skins, Hardcore Kids. It was all one scene. You needed everybody. So on the same bill, you would have like a band like the Radix, which were an Oi band, play with Uniform Choice, which was a straight edge band, which was they're one of my favorite bands to this day. Uniform Choice, that was one of my favorite shows I ever saw. But everybody was there together, and it got kind of lost, I guess, in translation, where the scenes all in mid '90s, it all went splintered, and then became smaller. I mean, don't get me wrong, hardcore straight edge in Syracuse was huge in the '90s, huge. But
that kind of reminds me of when I first started going to shows in Auburn. This was way later, 2001, but it would be like some fucking death metal band, some touring band, like a band like Between Walls. But like everyone just went because that was the thing to do.
That was the thing to do.
So that was kind of cool, because
and it also exposed you to different types of bands that you might not really fuck with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember going to a show. We went because my mom has family in Ohio, and we went there one summer. It was like 2003. Went to a show at the Agora Ballroom in Cleveland, and it was like Comeback Kid when they had the demo out. Every Time I Die, Terror, The Promise, like all these different kinds of bands playing one show. So you had all these different tribes there and everybody there, and you don't really see that anymore. And I remember as a kid, you would see flyers for shows and it'd be like From Autumn to Ashes, playing with Death Threat, which you would never see nowadays.
Yeah.
Those two fan bases are not,
which would be a good
nowadays.
thing for both fan bases, because you might get exposed to something that you might not necessarily fuck with, and then you find out that you really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to shows early '90s at Chalks, like Flood Camp, where they were kind of a funk band playing with hardcore bands, and I didn't care. I didn't know any
Fucking
difference.
ripped.
91.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to Syracuse to see a show, and walked away with Flag Camp being liked them way more
you
than
liked them more than others. Yeah, they were one of your favorite things.
The straight or not even the straight shit, just any of the hard tough guy stuff. But you had exposure to other shit.
Yeah, and it might be coming back around too, because in 2018, me and my boy Young Sands, we went to go see Power Trip
Fucking rad.
at the Lost,
Fucking
and I remember we got there and we ran into Brendan Dodge. I don't know if you know him.
I know Brendan.
He's like, hey, I haven't seen him in years. He's like, you might like this band Sheer Mag that's playing. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, Sheer Mag, okay, Sheer Terror, Crow Mags, maybe it's like a hardcore band. Perfect. They're like rock. Yeah. They sound like Thin Lizzy, Janis Joplin style. Yeah. They started to play. I was blown away. They're one of my favorite bands now. And I'm really, I don't know, like you don't see that anymore. And like the whole, like it was funny too, because when we went there, like the crowd didn't really like know what to do, because they're there to see like Power Trip, fucking Slam. And
they've been so lucky for so long to just be in their little niche and only go to the shows that have everything. But then when they see something different, they're like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. Which sucks, because you got to be open to it.
Yeah.
Actually, we just went to a show, about a month ago, which was, we saw Sick of It All, Municipal Waste, and Napalm Death. And that was
nice.
All three different crowds. And Take Offense.
Ooh,
they opened up. And it was a great show.
The TO Zone.
Yeah. And it was a great show because it was all different types of music. Yeah. And the crowd really, it was a good crowd, and everybody stayed for every band. It wasn't like, I saw Municipal Waste and Casualties probably about 10 years ago, and once Municipal Waste was done, all those people left. They didn't stick around. Yeah, they didn't stick around for the Casualties, which I was there for the Casualties, but I like both. But, I just noticed all those people left after Municipal Waste played. This time, everybody stuck around, and it was a good time.
So maybe it's starting to come back around again.
Yeah.
I would hope so. I mean,
I think it's, I think it has to. It
was a Monday night, too.
It was a Monday night, and I think it has to, because just how, like, I mean, hardcore is great, but it's kind of like not diluted, but there's just so many bands now and so much. Like, I don't think it can survive on splintering off. I think you need like everybody.
There's not a lot of local stuff. So when a band comes to town, you're like, because I don't go to hardcore shows.
I don't really either.
Because you're like, you're going busking. I'm getting your ticket.
Yeah. You're good.
I'm like, I wouldn't have missed Sick of It All anyway, but I would have slept on Municipal Waste and Napalm.
And I'm happy I didn't, because they were great.
So it was a Monday night, and it was...
And you got to be up for work the next day early.
But you're always glad.
My ticket, but I was going to go anyway.
No, it's fine.
You're always glad you went, even if you're tired as fuck.
My first Sick of It All show, my first Syracuse show, you were there.
It was Sick of It All in the Agnostic.
Yeah.
What? So when
it was when Roger Merritt was
that was a hard era.
Yeah, he was in prison here in town, and he got out. Yeah, if you ever read his book, I mean, we knew it anyway, but he went to prison on a drug trafficking charge. Yeah. And he spent time in Moravia and Auburn. Yep. And the day after he got out, his first show was in Syracuse at the Lost Horizon.
So he was fresh out of the joint.
Oh yeah, he actually told us.
He was probably super jacked.
He dedicated a song.
I don't think his shirt was ever on.
He dedicated a song to his cellmate when he got. Remember, he goes, "This one goes out to my cellmate."
Yeah. He mentioned Auburn ACF.
Yeah.
I read his book too. My Riot, Guts, Grit, and Glory.
Yeah, it's a great book.
It's a really good book.
Honestly, I
can let you borrow it. Or
whatever, I'm not much of a reader, but I probably only put that thing down 4 times.
Yeah,
and I'm not a reader at all.
His life was fucking insane.
It was. Yeah, I can't. If you're into hardcore, or not even into hardcore, just into a good book.
Yeah.
So that show, that was probably a scary ass show.
Oh yeah, that's back when you still had skinheads and shit, and they would come. Definitely would follow Agnostic Front around, and they always didn't have they weren't always like sharp skinheads. You would get some Nazis, and not that Agnostic Front doesn't talk about that at all. They just seemed like they would have that. Skinheads would show up.
Yeah.
And you remember that pit was pretty rowdy.
Yeah, it was nuts. I didn't even step a toe in it.
I would just think that
leather jacket.
He was holding my leather jacket. He was. Yeah, I made him hold my
jacket, bitch. I was like, okay.
My beer.
I did. I made him
while Tim went down in the pit and got down.
Me and Drew Casey.
Yeah, here's Drew Casey.
Yeah, he was
because that era of bands from down there, that was some hard as fuck bands down there.
They were legitimate.
Breakdown.
Yeah, all those bands were from
Killing Time.
Yeah, they were
like
from New York City. They actually used to live. A lot of those guys lived in squats, and they were like what they sang about was how they lived.
they were the real
They
deal.
were the real deal. They lived like what they were singing about. You know, just you know, it was just Victim in Pain. That freaking album just is like so,
One of the best.
Yeah, actually, Agnostic Front just put out their new album. I think it came out Friday. It's actually, if you get a chance on YouTube, I've heard a couple of songs on YouTube. It's really good.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And there's a documentary on Showtime about Roger and Stigma called The Godfathers of Hardcore, which is really good too.
Oh shit, it's great.
Yeah.
What channel?
Showtime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This was a big weekend in Syracuse hardcore. I think Madball played what? Thursday
Madball played Friday.
Friday night. I think Trench, Chris Riley's band, played a night.
They played The Lost.
Knocked Loose played.
Knocked Loose, they're huge now.
Then Reaper?
I don't know. I don't know.
Knocked Loose, they're on.
Is that still like a label? Are they still doing it?
No, Patrick's like, I don't think he's putting anything out on it. I mean, he still has stuff, he sells stuff, but I don't think he's put anything new out on it.
Yeah, I see now he does the tribal tattoo tour. That's like a huge thing.
Yeah, they just finished that about a month ago over in Europe.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Is he still doing the zine too?
I'm not really sure. I'm not 100% sure.
Turnstile was on Reaper, right?
Yeah. He actually, a lot of those bands
got their start. Yeah.
What was that band those guys, they're big, they were all like jack dudes. They were
Trapped Under Ice.
Yes. Yeah. They were on it, that what the hell's the band you just said there that opened up?
T.O.?
Yeah. Take Offense, their first album, man, or 7-inch, and the album that was rock, man. Sounded like a lot like Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah. It was a good album.
Fuck with that.
Yeah,
no,
the guitar player was so metal, dude.
Yeah,
it was so awesome. I'm glad I got there early, and the guitar player for Take Offense was so metal.
They rock.
Their music is great.
They're just like hard rock and roll, I don't know. To me, that's what it sounds like. Just rock, man. It's good.
Singer's great.
Have you listened to Power Trip? Dude,
It's
just thrash, pure thrash.
All right,
from Austin, Texas.
That's right up your fucking alley. Is Code Orange?
Yeah, I definitely fuck with them.
They you can definitely hear the Converge influence because he produced, I think, their last two.
Yeah, Kurt Ballou.
Shit reps.
Did you guys look into that Sabbath I recommended?
I did.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Dehumanizer?
You're sleeping, bro.
I'll listen to it on the way home tonight. I promise.
I'm not driving you home again.
No. Don't worry. I'm sticking with the seltzer tonight, folks.
Me too.
Got all kinds of fucked up last time. But
thanks for having me on.
You're always welcome on there.
Thanks,
Yo,
bro.
you got the Jenny Beer tat? I know. I remember you said you did, but I haven't seen it yet.
Steve's on the other day, so that's good shit too.
That is a true fan right there. Who did that? Who did that? Chiz?
Chiz, yeah.
What?
And this is Zach. Zach did my smallest tattoos from Zach, but
Switzer.
Rest in peace.
That was that big day where everyone was doing the flash.
Yeah. It was great.
They got a shit ton of people for that, I heard.
Yeah, it was a great turnout.
They made a lot of money for his family.
Yep, no doubt.
So that's always good.
Yeah. Where'd you get the Pennywise poster?
Walmart.
It's great.
Got it down the sewer from Georgie.
Jack and I were looking at toys and like, hey, I fuck with him.
Velvet Tiger's nice. That's some pretty good placement.
Oh, did you see I framed your picture?
Yeah, dude, that's respect. That's respect.
When you first said Pennywise, I was expecting to see Pennywise.
The band.
When I looked up there.
Epitaph,
it was just the
Stephen
PW.
King actually named the character after the band. It's a little known fact.
You know, he loves the
I
Ramones.
like the first two Pennywise.
Stephen King loves the Ramones.
I did not know that.
The first two Pennywise.
Pet Cemetery, the Ramones did the soundtrack for Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, Pet Cemetery.
He loves Ramones.
Yeah.
Really? Because I've seen that movie. I just don't remember that.
We all live in
89.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they had a video.
Steven is a punk rocker. Steven.
Hell yeah.
I didn't know that. He's also a big Red Sox fan, too.
Yeah, he's from
season ticket
Isn't
holder.
he from Maine,
Bangor,
right?
Maine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maine.
Bangor.
And basically, New Hampshire and Maine, they're all massholes.
I agree.
Which I love Boston. I mean, I'm a Boston person, but I mean, that's just, I always love that term, masshole.
Asshole. It's so
Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Damn.
So talk more about Auburn shows. 'Cause I think, what was the first Auburn show you went to? It may not have been the first Auburn show, but did you go to all the Auburn shows?
I was living in Syracuse at the
Right.
time, so whatever. I didn't go to all the 4-H ones.
Right.
I think the first Auburn show, I mean, that wasn't like, because Auburn did have shows before that with like the band The Attack.
Oh, like Dobko's.
Well, it was actually
Jeff Dobko's
Well,
bands.
well, he was in that band after, but the original guys I think were like Steve Kachi, that Casamasima guy, Donnie Alger, but they were in a band called The Attack that was like the Clash.
Donnie Alger was in The Attack?
Well, I'm not
Heard
sure.
that
I mean,
name.
don't quote me, but there was a
Ray
couple
Alger?
punk rock.
I'll find
bands,
out, yeah.
that all these guys were in. That when we were too young, they were 21 and over.
Where would they
bar
play?
shows. I think like Spirits and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
You know.
Because then Jeff Dobko's, he was in Dark Heart Alarm, but they
Yeah.
were more progressive.
They were more
I think.
like The Cure.
They got a
and
little
stuff
bit
like that,
older.
Love and Rockets, but Jeff
Yeah.
was in The Attack for a while with Steve Kachi.
Okay.
And his buddy there. I can't think of his buddy, but there was some Auburn bands that were punk before our time, and there were definitely punk rockers in Auburn before our time.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy to me.
So were there any
Like Glenn Hawk, he was a dude that
crews
I
back
looked
then?
up to.
Were there like
there
different
wasn't really
crews?
crews, but like Shane Woodman's mom, Mary, like her house on Florence Street. That's where
Been there.
everybody hung
That's
out.
that's
man. And Mary
that's where
was
we
like,
hung out. too.
Mary was like
It's an
Yeah.
institution.
Mary was
Yeah.
like a punk rocker. I remember I was in like 9th grade and she'd be walking down the hallway with freaking a mohawk and the Clash army jacket and shit.
What?
And they'd be
Holy
like, man,
fuck.
I want to hang out with her someday. And you never thought we would. Then we all became best friends
Yeah.
and hung out there. But like she had her own crew before us. I mean, way before me. I mean, I was younger than her, but like Glenn Hawk, Tim Kopp, Al Alger, Donnie Alger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were all into, they were ahead of us, and then Mary had this big old mohawk, and, then
That's
actually we
fucking
ended up
sick.
meeting up with them, and, because we were skateboarder punk kids, and they saw us one time, and, then we just started hanging out on Florence Street, and,
Yeah, we did
With
too.
Ginga.
yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Ginga. Yeah.
We got to get one of those historical signs to put in front of us. Those cast iron
Or
fucking
just make
shits.
one that looks like they'll never give us
Yeah,
the
just-
license. Just make one.
We should.
You
Wow.
guys work at a foundry
Yeah.
or a steel mill.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mean, those guys were into punk before we were, and turned us onto a lot of good music, that I wouldn't have known, and
Somebody
gave
turned them
us
on,
a cool
you know?
place to hang out, and a safe spot. You know what I mean? Because everybody was like you,
Mm-hmm.
they were all punk rock kids. And
Which, if you can explain to all the folks at home, like back then, if
There's
you
no
looked,
folks at home.
there's nobody watching
It's like
this.
23
Yeah.
folks.
no, yeah, back then, man.
If you looked-
if you looked
different,
different, people would want to beat your ass.
Yeah.
Like you would get chased down by people just because you look different. and they
it's
wanted.
not
they
like
wanted
now
to
where
beat
someone
your
has
ass.
like their hair dyed blue, like, oh, that's so fun.
No, you were I mean,
It's like, who the
it
fuck's
wasn't-
that guy?
Yeah, and they wanted to like.
Some all other bad slurs, thrown in there.
No, it was Auburn still is a redneck town, but back
Yeah.
then it was even if you had blue hair, mohawk, even just spiky hair, like I was saying earlier, you were labeled a weirdo or whatever, and just the jocks would want to beat your ass just because you look like that.
So were there any times where y'all had to throw down with somebody, with
I
some
never
jocks?
really.
or-
I never really had to. I mean, we ran, from people, skated away, because they never would do it 1-on-1 or 2-on-1.
Right.
it would be a whole
Right.
truck
It
full
would
of
be
bros.
a truck
Yeah,
full
right.
of them, and so they just, you just used to book, because you'd get your ass
Yeah.
beat. It didn't matter,
And then
it's-
if the cops came, they
They're
would
gonna
whoop.
get
They
you.
would whoop.
You were
they would
gonna-
whoop your ass too.
you
yeah.
were gonna get yelled at.
Yeah,
if
these
the
punks
cops
are causing
came
trouble.
because you look
These-
different.
with
and
these good boys.
Yeah,
they're out.
Right.
They're on the
Boys.
the the ice hockey team. They wouldn't do anything wrong.
I remember we used to skate at Tile and Carpet down in the Burger King parking lot, and
That's hot.
they might have been on the team, but I think they were the kids with the hot cars, and they would just hang out.
The BK car club.
That's been around forever.
That was around when I was in high school, but
Are
then
you
it was
fucking kidding
it was
me?
but then it was like Chevelles and
Legit cars.
Yeah, legit hot rods. It wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't even the IROCs. It was the actual cars.
My 03 Honda Civic.
Yeah, no, I mean there was a couple guy there with some really nice Dusters. Back at the time, I didn't care, but now thinking back, I mean '60s Dusters, they were cool as hell.
Remember my '89 Duster? What
yeah, that was totally different compared to these.
Yeah, Duster became like the neon, right?
Yeah.
But it was
in
like
the '60s. In the '60s,
the 60s, it was legit.
Shade from Jake. That became the neon.
No,
it was that style.
Not car. Shade to him, but it's like all those cars like devolved into like a shit car.
Yeah.
Like the Dart back then was sick.
Yeah.
Now the Dart is like the
Sucks.
neon.
Yeah, there's some bad cars in the '90s. I mean, the '60s were good for cars.
Well, the gas
'70s,
the gas crisis hit, and the Americans try to keep up with the Japanese, with like the Toyota Tercel and stuff, because that started just beating the shit out of the American, like auto worker, because we were still building V8s and fucking
gas guzzlers,
and gas was like you were waiting in line. It was you had to pick.
I got my voucher for this week.
That's what it was, and that's in the American.
That makes sense.
American car industry fell behind. So
Nissan, Hyundai, Toyota. That's true.
Didn't they used to do it something? It was like your license plate. If it started with like an odd number,
I've heard that.
It was like one day you could get it. It went by odd or something, or color, like he was saying voucher or something. Okay. It was something like that. I mean, I was alive then. I remember sitting in lines with my dad waiting for gas, but I don't remember.
That's
fucking horse shit. Thanks a lot, Carter.
Fucking do it.
But I do remember sitting in long lines, and you were only allowed to get gas on a certain day and stuff. But like I said, I was a kid. You didn't even that stuff.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's fun. We're waiting in line.
Yeah. But
I got a soda pop.
Were you around for the Nazi?
Actually, I was living in Syracuse, but my brother went down there. I just love that story, how the Nazis, they tried to get a house going over on like Logan or one of those streets. There was a guy in town, they were trying to get like a chapter here, and they came in by bus, and like people of Auburn. I wasn't there.
Fucking nuts.
My brother was. Eric Lynn was there, and they chased him out of town. The guys didn't even get off the bus. Like Auburn actually came together, just normal people.
I'd love to see Eric with a pitchfork.
No,
get out of our town.
So I wasn't there, but I just remember hearing like they got chased out of town.
We don't like you damn Nazis around here.
They were supposed to do it. They were supposed to do a speech, down on at City Hall, and the bus pulled up, and they went to get off.
Shut it down.
People just shut it down. Yeah.
Huh. That's not very freedom.
We always
should have been allowed to speak, but
that day it was just bars emptying out. Let's go fuck some dudes up.
That's probably what it was.
They're not arresting people. Let's just go fuck them up. I don't know what's going on.
That's so redneck.
Yeah,
that's redneck. That's not. What's the amendment for free speech? I don't know.
I kind of
the First Amendment.
I mean, I know you're supposed to have the First Amendment, but I love how Black Bloc and I know Antifa's not a group, it's just anti-fascist, but I love how they don't wave placards. They just go up and just, if Richard Spencer's Spencer's talking shit, they're just going to go give him a forearm in the face. I kind of like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm sick of hearing people speak talk shit. You know what I mean?
And it's people who, if they had their way, we wouldn't have our right to free speech.
Do that. We wouldn't be able to be doing.
To go back to what you're saying, I remember I had a teacher. Maybe you guys had him too, Jerry Martin.
Yeah, Mr. Martin.
And he had a different take on it. I remember in school he told us about it, and he said he didn't support the Nazis, of course, but he said, how much more of a statement would that have been if they had their little speech but nobody showed up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How much more of a statement would that have been? He's like, that's just something they want to think about.
Yeah, no. I mean, you should let anyone speak. I don't care if you're proud neo-Nazis or the people that hate Harriet Tubman got to talk to. I mean, this is what's happening now in this country now. People that are pro-Trump and that absolutely just hate anti-Trump people in the same way. Got to let people speak and then try to talk to them, engage them. You can fight them if you have to, and it usually devolves into fighting because people don't sit down and have a beer. Let's just talk about the issues. It doesn't mean you're right. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe you'll change your mind. But we can part ways. But that doesn't happen when you don't want people to speak and just fucking. And it might be fun, but it also sounds like the Dead Kennedy song "Riot." You know, tomorrow you're homeless. Tonight was a blast. Tomorrow you're homeless. Tonight was a blast. I don't know. Anyway, that's my point of view. I think it's bullshit. If you get a fucking license from Auburn, New York to hold a rally, even if you're the devil himself, fucking you did it legally. But we'll fight after this. We'll brawl on the street.
I don't care.
That's my viewpoint. And I'll
It's all good. Everybody's got their own viewpoints. That's what's good about this country.
It's all good, Brian.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right.
He'll never be back on the podcast.
No, you're always welcome.
Last appearance.
I still like
Brian Buske, I think his name was.
Yeah.
I still like that
Fucking
shot of
doxing.
Richard. I still like that shot of Richard Spencer getting hit in the head. In the
Oh,
face
yeah.
that day. It's awesome.
That's the best. He kind of fell off after
Yeah.
that. You don't really see much of him,
You don't.
which is good, or it could be bad. He could be up to something.
Yeah.
Right.
Never know.
What about the big old the shoe factory fire?
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
I'm fascinated with Auburn
So
history
energetics.
back then.
It was done
in McCarthy.
Done in McCarthy. Actually, we were. I was with my first wife. Then we weren't married. We were dating, and I remember we were at her house on State Street, and we saw the fire. So we went and we were hanging out on. We drove over by Orchard Street where that bar used to be.
The Roadhouse.
The Roadhouse. Yeah.
Oh, the Roadhouse.
And that fire was so intense, you could feel the
You could
heat.
feel it across
you could
the
feel the heat
arterial?
over there. Yeah,
Wow.
it was crazy.
Christ.
Yeah, we were sitting there watching it burn, and
Wow.
like
be a
I
fun
remember,
time.
Yeah.
the flames were
A
like
few good ones
spreading
in Auburn.
over, and people were worried the prison was going to catch on fire because
They thought the whole town was going to catch fire.
Yeah, because across the
Holy
street
fuck.
actually burned down too. The old P&R macaroni. I don't know if you guys remember, but
No.
Yeah.
like if you used to go to like Wegmans or Tops around here, there used to be a brand called P&R.
P&R. There's
macaroni.
commercials and shit
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, and the factory.
They
was
made
right
it in
across-
Auburn?
Yeah, it was right across
Wow.
the street. And, I don't know if it was still open at the time when it burned down, but from the flames and debris like in the air, it caught that on fire.
Yeah, I remember they were really worried about that because it was a shoe factory for so many years. So they make those like epoxies that they put the shoe on, and they would just fall on the floor.
Yeah.
It's soaked in over like 70, 80 years.
Oh,
So
my
once
God.
it just kept fueling it. It was-
Firestone to purify.
yeah, that's right. Street by street, block by block, they were taking it all back.
Yeah, I think that started just because some kids were playing in there.
Yeah.
Neighborhood kids
Yeah.
were playing in a vacant building, and they started the fire.
They almost burned the whole city down.
Yeah. No, it's finally I see that they dumped so much dirt there and everything. It's level.
Yeah.
There actually used to be a really good skate spot there when the factory was still there. The parking lot, if you're going down Washington, toward the prison,
Balloons.
yeah,
Yep.
toward Balloons, they used to
Best
have
steak in town.
Had one the other day.
Their parking lot was right there. Well, you would have to go down some stairs to get there. Well, there was an awesome blacktop bank to a concrete wall.
Oh, really?
And the concrete wall wasn't totally vert; it was on a slant, so you would start
nice.
skating and
Oh,
you could
alright.
do awesome wall rides.
Yeah,
on
perfect
it.
wall ride trainer.
Yeah, it was a perfect wall
Wallies.
ride. We used to always hang there and do wall rides and stuff. It was
So what were some of the other spots around back then? How do you-
State Street Mall was the
Oh
big
yeah,
spot.
Before they paved it.
Yeah, before
paved
they-
paradise.
that was-
Put up a
We talked about
parking
that last
lot.
time.
Yeah,
that was still going when I first moved
people
here.
used to come into town to skate that because it was really
That
good.
was a concrete jungle. That was
Yeah.
great.
I think I've seen a picture of you somewhere floating online skating one of those
Yeah,
things.
I was
brother,
jumping-
I got it from somewhere.
Oh.
Or maybe probably got it from you, but
I was jumping over the one where I was jumping over Rob Scholl's head.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
the bomb drop.
Yeah, I was doing a boneless over
Yeah.
Rob Scholl's head. It was this thing called the Ghost. It was like 7 feet tall, and it was all. Somebody wrote spray painted, and it was on there forever, Ghost, but they didn't spell Ghost right. It was GOAST, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ghost.
I think it's in a picture, isn't it?
I don't know. Well, you can't see it in
Ghost.
that picture, but everybody still calls it like the ghost.
But what was it intended for? Like what?
I
was
think
it?
what's in there is there was a metal panel on there. I think all the electric was in there because it was a concrete thing, like the walls. Like
Yeah,
the
it was
other
taller
ones.
than everything else.
But there was a concrete or a metal door on
breaker
it,
box or
a breaker,
something.
a
All
big
right.
breaker box, and I think it controlled all the electric in
Okay.
there. But somebody across the big metal door spray painted ghost.
Yeah, because
And
that
that
whole
was-
thing was like a piece of artwork. I remember we would try to, as
Yeah.
kids, we would try to climb on
Oh
it. and
yeah, there was
everything.
there was a playground in there too,
Yeah.
where there was ropes and the wood. There was like a wood
Sure.
playground in part of it. That
I mean, I was young enough to enjoy that too.
Yeah.
Until somebody fucking skated off a ghost, and you're like, okay, that's my new feat.
But
I gotta do that.
that was like the biggest like thing to go off there because everybody back then it was big bonuses, acid drops, and you'd ollie off stuff, and that was the highest point ledge. That was the highest ledge in State Street Mall. So that was like the feat. You know what I mean? Oh, who's gonna bonus the ghost or whatever, or acid drop off it or whatever? And a guy down there was taking pictures. That picture was actually taken by a citizen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were in the paper.
No, that one didn't make it because Rob
bummer.
still had a cigarette in his hand. I remember we
really?
saw him. He was carried, but back then you're talking 80s.
We can't
86,
promote
87.
smoking.
Yeah, he was a
You
kid,
guys
yeah.
were teenagers.
Yeah, we were
Yes.
teenagers, and that guy took like 100 pictures. He gave us all the pictures. Greg Dopko had. We were looking for him about a month ago at his house. We couldn't find him, but yeah, that was just one of those things where. It was like the highest ledge. Who's going to do it?
Yeah.
And I did it over his head because the guy was taking pictures. And I landed.
Did you land it?
Yeah, I landed it.
Cheers.
And after I did, after I did it once, it was, it was
Yeah.
nothing.
Who was the best skater in Auburn those days?
Oh, I don't know. Probably John Camp.
That's what I said.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
probably
what he
John
said.
Camp because he could skate everything. For mini ramp, street. He was just a good all around skater. Him, Brad Piccolo. Brad was really good too.
Yeah.
Was like Mike Malfi and
Oh yeah, that was
Malfi was
after my
awesome.
time.
Yeah, I skated with Malfi a
Melfi
lot.
was like
He was sick.
I got out of it once that ollieing and I could
tricks.
ollie, but I couldn't flip trick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once flip tricks came in, it got rid of a lot of skateboarders.
So that's like 90
a
that's like
lot of
92
skateboarders.
era.
Yeah, and Mike Melfi, I remember seeing him. And that kid was like really good.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for after like 91. I don't, there was, I'd
Right.
see kids, there was tons of kids because skating got a lot more popular. And, but during my time, like say from 85 to 90 or whatever, it was probably John Camp or Brad Pickle.
Yeah, 90 was probably like the death of like transitions and
Yeah,
vert
yeah.
and all that, and then everything. It was all street from then on out.
Yeah. And the flip tricks came in and everything. But Mike Melfi was a good skater. He could do like no complies, like Ray Barbie type of stuff. Into like, do you know who Ray Barbie is? You guys know who
No.
he is? Okay, well Ray Barbie, like if you watch like late 80s, early 90s, like him, Mike Vallely,
Okay, yeah.
He's still,
they
he's still
would do
around.
tricks into like a no comply, into an ollie, into a 50-50.
Okay,
They would like tricks started being like lines. They would just go
Oh,
into a
so that's
trick.
where that started.
That's where
Okay.
that started. Yeah, and that's what people like Mike
History
Melfi-
lesson, folks.
Yeah,
Listen.
I mean, and I'm sure there were people before those two. I'm just going from what I remember seeing, like Mike Valley and Ray Barbie, like doing that stuff. Like all of a sudden, right from their door, like ollieing off the curb and
Like
then
another
doing a
beer?
no
Oh, yeah,
comply
so
and then doing a kick
Is it
flip.
that cold from being by the window? I'm sorry. Yeah.
So-
No, yeah,
There'd
yeah.
be combos.
Yeah, they were
Snakes
kind of
and
doing
spreads.
lines.
Doing
Yeah.
a flip trick into a manual.
Yeah, yeah.
And then from a manual into a 180
Yeah.
off of a curb or something. But
I've done that on Tony Hawk's Pro
yeah, I
Skater.
know, me too. That's about it.
But yeah, that beer stays cold. It's
Jesus.
Mother Nature's fridge right there.
Yeah, I
Open
just took him
window.
out of the real fridge a few minutes ago.
You're not supposed to say that.
Oh, sorry. Been
Not that cold in Auburn.
marinating all day. After our last episode with Brian, I really got thinking about making a mini ramp.
That'd be good.
That would be fun as fuck.
What?
Probably a two. I'd mellow transition, maybe 2 foot on one half, 3 foot on the other.
Oh.
I'm not trying to kill myself.
No,
yeah.
that's
That's good idea.
Be
Didn't think
perfect.
about that.
I want to get like the proper like skate light and shit for the top so it doesn't warp. And
Yeah, if you
fucking
get
get
skate
destroyed.
light for around here, it would last a long time.
That shit's expensive.
Yeah,
though.
it is, but it's a one-time investment. That's the thing. If you do masonite,
Mason,
it's
I was thinking, what
spongy.
they call it when we were kids?
Yeah, I think skate
Masonite.
light's like the name brand of it.
Oh,
Of Masonite.
good for
But
them.
it's actually skate light is actually weather resistant, where
Mhm.
masonite gets absorbs the rain and stuff.
So they asked me, I was like, John Camp had a mini ramp. Brad had a full
Ramp.
half pipe. Spadero had a full.
But then Spadero's
Yeah,
was cut down
Gentino.
into a mini ramp.
Yeah.
Genentino had a mini ramp.
Yep. Holkovich had a mini ramp.
Yeah,
Remember
I
that?
never
Um,
skated it. He had that before, like, I think he had a ramp before a lot of people had them.
Yeah. Holkovich, I used to skate with him all the time. He was my neighbor. Remember I was trying to remember
His brother ended up being a major
Yep.
league baseball player.
Beardsley.
Kevin
Beardsley,
Polkovich
right.
played for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. He ended up, and then Brian still's in town. I think he works for
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah, I see Brian once in a while.
But he was the skater. Brian was
Yep.
the skater.
I skate with him all the time.
Oh shit.
But I never skated with him. But he was actually an early on skater.
Yeah.
I mean, he skated probably mid 80s.
Yep. Polkovich is real deal.
So do you still skate now?
Yeah, if that's what you call it. You know, I do. Yeah.
Having fun.
I just skated today at this Drew Wilmont. He built AJ Spadero's ramp.
You skated with
carpet
Drew today?
at his house. Yeah,
That's why you texted me that?
Yeah, I haven't seen Drew in 30 years, and
Fucking,
I skate with his nephew.
you do your homework. Like, I'm on a podcast about
Yeah.
skateboarding. I'm going to skate with fucking the
and
guy that
Drew's
built all the
got-
Auburn half pipes.
Yeah,
That's
Drew's
fucking
got
legit.
this
That's what's up.
awesome bowl in his garage. It's the first time I
I
ever
heard about
skated.
that.
Is that out in Skinny Alice?
Yes,
I've heard about
of
that.
that.
I remember
Yeah.
Matt would always say, "Yeah, this guy out in
I've seen video
Yeah,
footage.
yeah,
of
his
it.
name's
on
Drew.
YouTube. Oh my god, like
I love
that ramp served me up like John McEnroe. I mean, it's a
Got
legit.
him.
It's a
Wicked
legit
transition.
Yeah, it's wicked steep, and I mean, I'm used to Auburn's mini ramp, which hardly is very mellow.
Yep.
And he's got a legitimate bowl, and you should see him skate it. He's 57 years old, and he skated it better than most kids I've seen skate.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
He was
fucking
ripping,
sick.
doing his front side smiths, everything, and it's a legitimate bowl. It served me up. Like I got humbled today, you know. Like it was tough just to even get some 5-0 grinds on it.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not. It's just steep, you know, and I'm just not used to that. I'm used to, you know, there's a mini ramp in Syracuse. It's got really mellow transitions, and same with the one in Auburn. And I just do a lot of slappies. I
Yeah,
love
just
doing
have
slappy grinds.
yeah,
Yeah, I just
just
go out
have
have
fun.
fun. Yeah. No, I still skate. Yeah.
That's
Got
legit.
the scars to prove
What?
it. You know,
Yeah, you
but,
definitely do.
But yeah, I still skate. Yeah, I love it.
So what's the skate scene like now in town? Are there still
Yeah,
like a lot of
there's
kids coming up?
Not a
and-
ton. There's like some kids that are like 21, 22 years old. I skate with a group of them. Basically, the Auburn skate park's just full of a bunch of rats. You know, just kids on
Oh,
scooters.
kids wanting to smoke weed and stuff.
Well, not even that. Just kids on scooters, and I'm not even saying legitimate scooters. I'm just saying kids just from just
Not
they
even
get in your
razors.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just.
Fuck you, old man.
It's I mean, once in a while you get some kids from Syracuse to come to skate, but
Well,
no,
'cause I'm-
Auburn doesn't have too much going
Well, because
on.
I wonder, because I see a lot of stickers around town.
Prison City
Skate
That's kind of
Crew.
us.
Yeah,
We kind of
okay.
made those stickers up.
All
Actually,
right.
his brother did the thing. I was gonna bring some tonight and I forgot him to give you guys. I'll get.
Oh,
you
sick!
some.
That's what's up. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that. I just saw
it's
the
just-
the
it's-
sticker
it's
like
just,
around town.
It's just like 6 or 7 of us. We just made some stickers and some T-shirts and.
I saw that Andy Roy did a cameo for you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, he did a
Really?
cameo,
Fucking
yeah.
awesome.
for
Andy
Prison
Roy?
City
It's
Skate
hilarious.
Crew, yeah. It's
Cameo's
on
funny as
it's on
fuck.
the Prison City Instagram.
I'm gonna have to follow that.
I just did it the other
Prison
day.
City
Yeah.
Skates Instagram. But Andy Roy did a shout out to us on it.
Really?
Yeah.
It was funny as hell.
Shout out to the Present City Skate
Yeah,
Crew.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes.
Yeah, it was too. Yeah, but
You ever skate Ithaca? The
yeah,
park down
Ithaca's
there?
great,
That's a
especially
nice
with the
park.
new part they put on.
I haven't skated.
Oh
it
wait,
since they
so
added the
there's a new park?
Yeah, they
It's
put
like
a new
just
part
as
like
big.
2 years ago. It's really nice. I always like Ithaca because I like the horseshoe bowl. You know, the half bowl there, the horseshoe, because that's the type of stuff I like to, you know, just do 50-50s and feebles.
I haven't been down there in a minute.
Yeah,
Where is it?
Ithaca, it's right across from Wegmans.
Yeah.
down
On
there.
Route 13.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I used to like riding down that one slant going up and like manualing around the horseshoe bowl and
Yeah.
fucking dropping
Drop
in.
back and down.
Love that park. I did a competition there in 2002.
Oh, really?
Awesome.
Right on.
Sick.
Yeah, because you're from King Ferry, right? Or
Genoa.
Genoa, so
Yeah.
Ithaca's probably
Same thing.
closer.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah, but I know.
Same shit, different tournament.
Well, no, but I'm so it was.
Just kidding.
It was better for you to go to Ithaca because it was a better park than Auburn.
Yeah, we can't. We would come and skate. We'd skate in Moravia. We'd skate in Auburn.
Yeah.
This was pre the skate park.
Yeah.
Ithaca a little bit. Yeah. Gotta get it in when you can.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember back before the skate park, like 02, 01, if they caught you skateboarding, the cops would fuck you up.
Yeah.
Remember
you get tickets. And
Rich
you take your boards.
Pachano, he got maced by some
By
cops.
cops?
Yeah, that was a big deal in the paper.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Cop beat the shit out of him.
I don't know if it was. He was a dick cop. We used to call this one cop Ratty. I can't think of his name, but that guy just seemed like he had a problem with skateboarders just from day one, just even if you were just with your skateboard downtown and you weren't even skating, he would just like drive by slow and then come back to see if he was going to catch you.
Yeah.
Skater punk stole his girl.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's just like all we were trying to do all we were doing is trying to skate and have some fun, and like you were just looked at as troublemakers.
Fuck yeah.
We got a bigger problem now. It's not skaters.
What's that?
Crackheads.
Heroin.
Yeah, I know.
That goddamn back-end parking ruins my life.
Never seen that. Holy fuck. What about tattoos? When was your like first? What were the shops back in the day? I always hear about Dean. Like
Good
Dean was
question.
the guy.
Dean, Tattoo Tony with Brian Bancroft. Brian Bancroft probably
Never
still
heard
is.
of
He does his tattoos. I think he's still in Cortland. He's a really good tattooer, and he used to tattoo out of Tattoo Tony's.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
Dean
shit.
started in Tattoo Tony's too, right? And left and started his own shop, Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
And then actually a lot of the guys from Syracuse used to come to Auburn because Syracuse really didn't have any shops. It was Auburn.
No
think.
shit.
Wow,
Like I know
okay.
like DJ and them would come to Tattoo Tony and get their first tattoos. I know a
So
lot of
does
those guys.
does he
fucking
still
nuts.
tattoo Tony?
I think he's dead.
Oh wow,
damn.
rest in peace.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So-
to get a
Bummer.
legit
Yeah, that'd be
Tattoo
sick.
Tony piece.
I think the first time I went to Tattoo Tony shop, those over on Columbus Street.
Yeah, across from
Whereabouts?
Elko.
Yeah.
Right across the street from
Oh
Auburn.
wow,
Yeah.
Bombardier.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
You got
where that barber shop
Delicados.
is.
Yeah, where the barber shop
Yeah.
is. Yes.
That's where the tattoo shop was.
fuck.
Wow.
Never knew
Somebody
that.
plowed right into it.
Yeah, somebody drove right across the street into it at
Yeah.
one time.
Wow.
First time I was in that
Stole your
shop
girl.
was before AJ was in there he was getting tattooed, and I was just sitting there looking at magazines and shit, looking around. But maybe Bancroft was working there, but it was definitely Tony's shop. AJ was talking to Tony at the time, but I didn't have tattoos at that time. I was probably 16, 17. AJ got tattooed pretty early.
AJ was tattooed before he was 18,
Oh,
which was
certainly.
against the I don't know how like some people did. Like AJ had tattoos before a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he was like 16.
So did a lot of our friends.
Yeah, for sure. Like 14.
But after
Look
that,
at
I
that
didn't
shit.
see Tony until
Tony left Brian ran the shop forever. Like Tony was never around. Brian Bancroft always was there.
Yeah.
Tony went to Aruba or wherever.
I saw
What?
Tony. Bancroft was doing this, I think, and it was 2004, or doing my back or something. And Tony walked in. I didn't see him, and he's talking. I'm like, dude, are you gonna talk? You're gonna fucking finish my back, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm fucking
I
hurting
turn
over here.
around, yeah. And it's tattooed Tony, and I think he was sick. I think he had Hep C or something. But
Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah, I know he passed away.
yeah.
From what I heard,
But hey, first tattoo I ever heard of in Auburn.
Yeah, it was Tattoo
First shop I
Tony.
was ever in Auburn was
Chad
Tony.
Sedol
Respect.
Chad
Oh,
Sedol still
Chad
rocks.
must-
Well, Chad's
He's got the
stuff-
t-shirt?
The t-shirt
I've
still.
seen that.
Yeah, Chad still
Yeah.
rocks a Tattoo Tony t-shirt.
So Brian Bancroft still tattoos, and he's an
Out of
OG
Portland,
Auburn
I think.
tattooer.
We gotta check him
Does
out.
art in Cortland, but I drove by. He was on. I forgot the name of the street, but I was just down there the other day. That shop is gone. He may have. Oh, you know what? He did move the shop to like a big barn, but I don't know if Liquid Brick is a tattoo shop or he.
I like
does-
that name.
Yeah, he's super creative.
I saw him a couple
He
years
does
ago.
chalk work for like some of the bars downtown.
He still
he gets
does
paid
tattoos.
for artwork.
A
Does
couple
he?
years
Downtown
ago,
here or downtown there?
Portland.
Okay.
Like,
a couple years ago, I saw him
Oh,
at the
shit.
Rochester Tattoo Festival, and he was tattooing there.
oh, good.
We go there every year,
Every
so
fucking year,
we're gonna. I'll keep an eye out
Yeah,
for
I-
it.
Tim, like-
Yeah, I saw you a couple
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah, I didn't go this year, but I know I saw him there a couple years back. So, but I don't know if he was there last year.
Yeah, he's killer. Good. I'm glad he's still tattooing.
Yeah, I'm definitely want to check him out. That's some like Auburn history I never knew about.
Brian Bancroft.
I bet
Brian
there's
Bancroft, Four Finger Brian.
Yeah, he's
Is it
missing
this
a
one that's
finger.
missing?
I'm not sure, but he is missing a
He
finger.
was
It's a Simpsons character.
did a lot of well.
Sorry.
No, I love your Simpsons.
Analogies.
Sorry.
Alright, sorry.
I just ruined
We played
that.
Cards for Humanity today at family Jen's dad's
Oh, yeah.
house. Yeah, and I guess they have a Simpsons version, which I would fucking destroy with you guys if you're into it.
I'm down.
Let us know.
Well, I gotta buy it first, find it
Let's
somewhere,
get it.
and then
I'll
let's
pitch in.
get it and fucking play it.
Nice.
That would be awesome.
They probably have it.
You can
they
enjoy
have that
some
board game
duff
store.
beer and some
Well, they have a-
steamed hams.
They have a board, they have a
Some
board
tobacco.
game store at Carousel, I think.
Oh yeah,
There's a board game store in Carousel, isn't there?
Yeah.
Justin?
Play the game. Read the story.
Yeah.
What was
Like, are
your
you
first
asking me or
tattoo?
telling me?
My first tattoo's
Yeah.
cross, this cross, I think. It was actually from a snowboard. It's hard to see.
Those some hard tats.
Yeah.
It's there. It's got my initials, but the original was that cross. It was on the bottom of a Lamar snowboard, Mike Rankwit, and it had Rankwit's name. He was an awesome snowboarder back in the early 90s. John Camp used
was
to...
he sponsored by
by
Lamar?
Lamar, and John Camp was sponsored by Lamar Snowboards.
That's what he was saying last
Yeah,
week.
and John used to get us like boards for like... John didn't get paid by him. They'd give John gear, and then they'd give him like 6 snowboards, and then he would sell
Sell 'em.
some. Yeah, to make
That's
money.
legit.
Yeah, and then he also had like a photo incentive. So if he got a picture in the magazines, he'd get paid. And then he was also sponsored by back then, I don't even know if they're still around, but Rusty used to make.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
the R logo.
Our
that
logo,
shit.
and they made some really legit snowboard gear.
Yeah,
and he was
that's
sponsored
right.
by them, and they would always give him like 5 outfits, and he'd always sell, keep like 2 and sell like 3.
All right, you
but,
can't sell these. I
yeah,
won't.
that was,
He sold-
that was a Mike Rankwit. Bottom of Mike Rankwit's deck was that cross, and it
That's
said
legit.
Rankwit, and I just always liked it. It just looked, you know what I mean, the Celtic cross, and I just instead
That's
of throwing
fucking
Rankwit
sick.
on it, I just threw my initials on it. I mean, what do you do when you're 18 years old or 19? You know what I mean?
You're
Yeah.
doing better than most people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I didn't know.
It's
what
not an
to do.
ICP tattoo or a Taz
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
breaking out of your skin.
I don't know. Taz is kind of sick though.
Taz is coming back.
I think I would get a Taz.
back.
I want to get like a prominent
So is
Taz.
Garfield.
You're right. Yeah, where did that come from?
Or remember, a lot
Lasagna.
of hardcore kids used to get Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, the pissing one.
Oh,
Not the thing like that with a thing. He was like dancing.
Pissing at
Like,
fucking nerds.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Calvin would be
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah,
Calvin
yeah.
and Hobbes would be like they were in a pit.
Yep,
Like that.
yep.
I've
That's
seen
actually
that.
Yeah.
kind of sick. I
It's
think.
cool. No,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah,
That
no,
sounds
I mean,
pretty
it
good.
definitely was.
because that
cool
was a
tattoo.
pretty intelligent
Comic.
cartoon.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
comic.
And they would
fuck
be
yeah.
like dancing
Because it was
around like
John
that.
Calvin and Thomas Hobbes is what the.
Is that what it
I
is?
think
Oh,
that's
is
what
that
it was
right?
based on.
I
Yeah,
used to have all the books.
Yeah.
It was
This is
fucking
an
love
intellectual
Calvin Hobbes.
podcast, guys.
that's right.
Yeah.
We're the smartest
We're probably,
podcast
this is
on
probably
earth.
wrong. We're probably wrong with
I
half the
know.
shit we're
Yeah.
saying.
We just keep going.
Never let
That's
the-
why I wanted you on to fact check my bullshit.
Well, I don't know. I
now
mean,
we need
I'm
someone
just
to fact check. We need Mary
my
Woodman.
bullshit.
You never let the
Fact check
truth
your
get in
shit.
the way of a good story.
That's
folks.
right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We don't Wikipedia shit. What we say is fucking it. Don't
I was
question
stoked
it.
one time because John Camp sold me a sweet Rusty. I was snowboarding all the time in Buffalo, like every other day. And he's like, I got this Rusty. It was like green. It was awesome. It was the best thing I had. 'Cause back then I had JCPenney shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, why you give me such a good deal? Anyway, I took it and ran. Fucking put it on, get ready to get on the bus. My buddies, fucking cat piss.
Oh, that's the worst smell.
Emily pissed
Number
all
one
over
kitty,
it. He's
man.
like,
That's the worst smell.
Yeah,
Ugh.
his cat used to piss on
yeah.
everything.
And I didn't
You
care
had
if
to
I was on
wash
the
and
hill.
stuff. Yeah, you had to
Yeah,
wash.
So does mine.
That's
Which
why I
is
brought
fine
all
on
my
the
shit
hill,
up
not
here.
the bus, like with all the girls and
Yeah.
your boys,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, they're all like,
it's
it's not me.
my boots.
Did you snowboard too?
Yeah. No, I
fuck
love.
yeah.
I still snowboard. I love
Same.
snowboarding.
Holler at me.
So
Greek
Let's
feet.
speaking
go.
of
Well, I go
snowboarding
to
in
some,
the Buffalo area,
we've been
but I'll go
Um,
to Greek with you. I'll go anywhere.
Ellicottville.
Greek's a little bit more, but it's cool.
Yeah, Ellicottville. You used to go to Kissing
Happy
Bridge
Valley?
and Holiday Valley. That was
Holiday
your
There were
Valley.
thing.
4 actually. I just
One of them closed
Brought
down
this up
there.
Because I got
Yeah.
family out there, and they always talk about. They're like, we got a cabin up in Ellicottville.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Ellicottville, Holiday Valley.
There's
is
a
in
beer
Ellicottville.
company there too.
It was great.
all
So
right.
for $99, this is in the 90s. $99, we could go unlimited to any of 4, and I mean, I'm talking about.
It was through the school, right?
Yep. We had
It's
so many
fucking
kids.
crazy.
We had so many kids that wanted to ski. $99, which not a lot of money.
Well, back then it was
Back
probably
then,
like
that was
two-
really
it was
good.
probably like
Yeah.
$200-300 now.
But compared to tickets, but compared to a ski lift ticket and a bus, like a Bluebird, like a Greyhound bus,
Yeah.
to drive all the way up to the mountain. There's no food or anything, but we loved it, man. We skied, we snowboarded, we were snowboarding every other day just because we couldn't go every day because we'd be fucking exhausted. Because
Yeah.
we'd go to school the next day. But
Any
it was
snow
killer.
bunnies out there? Lovely ladies.
They were maybe, but they were
Back at
skiers.
the
They
lodge.
weren't talking to us dirtbags. They were talking to us dirtbags.
For Jenna
I
and
said,
I
you're
to go.
Selesnik.
Yeah,
Selesnik
he's got a
maybe.
Noah Selesnik. I gave him a Sims, and Noah Selesnik died. But it's got. Do you ever see the Sims back in the day? The bottom of it has skateboard wheels on it. Like if you do
Trucks.
an air on it, it looks like the bottom of a skateboard. It has trucks
That's
and
legit.
wheels
The
on it,
bottom
and it
graphic
says
was pretty
Sim.
cool,
Yeah, it says
Love
Sims across it. It looks like the bottom of if you held up a bottom
Yeah.
of a skateboard.
Wow.
Yeah, but Noah Selesnik back in the early '90s was like a great snowboarder, and he died like recently. But you still
Bummer.
got that board. That board's
Yeah.
you know who wants that board is
Mike Miller.
Mike Miller, because Mike Miller. I don't know if you guys know Mike Miller, but he left
Mike
Auburn, and he just was like into mountain biking, and he was a great snowboarder. And he's like, you know what, I want to move to Tahoe. He freaking
What?
packed up. He
Dude.
worked at Nolan's, packed up, fucking went out to Tahoe.
Atomic tonight.
Started
back.
he did start a
Alright.
mountain bike and snowboard shop
Holy fuck.
called Gravity.
Yeah,
What's it called? Sorry, Mike.
it's gravity.
Gravity Shop. The Gravity Shop, yes. And he's like fucking lived out there
Successful.
20 years.
It's like
Successful.
it's like
And he
the
sells
most
Sims
expensive
and
place in
Yeah.
you know.
Sims.
Lake
He's
Tahoe.
successful.
Tom Sims'
Fuck,
wife
I was
bought
in his
back
apartment.
Sims, the
And in a
name,
shop.
and they started making snowboards again, like 4 years ago in America again, because they sold Sims a long time ago in like the 90s. You know, when all the big companies like Vision Sims, they all got bought out by like
Yeah, I honestly don't think when I started snowboarding they were around. It
They
was
probably
Ride,
were gone.
Burton,
Yeah.
They probably were gone
Fucking
because I think they
Liptak.
sold them.
Yeah.
Well, they're back. Tom Sims' wife bought them back, and they're made at Never Summer out of Denver. It's another snowboard company. They make their boards, and Mike sells them. But so Mike collects all these old Sims boards, and he knew I had that Selesnik, and he goes, "Whatever happened to that Selesnik?" And
Damn.
Brian's got it. He wants it to put on his
Brian's
wall
got that shit.
at the
Yeah.
shop.
That's my only snowboard.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Don't let it go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's
No,
worth.
no.
I'm sure it's like old skateboards now. Old snowboards go for money too to collectors.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
I learned on that green canoe, and then I don't know if it was my brother's
Yeah.
or yours. But I learned on
I didn't
that
have a
fucking
GNU.
thing.
No, I never had a GNU, so it was probably your brother's. Which GNU turned? It was LibTech and GNU were the
Oh,
same
was it?
company.
Okay.
Yeah, they
But
were the same owners. you
After
know.
that brown, doo-doo brown color,
Selesnik,
Noah
you
Selesnik
got-
is the only fucking board I've ever had in my life.
it was a good board. I
It's
bought it.
still a good board.
I bought it for Michelin back then, and it was a little too big for it, so that's how you got it.
Yeah, no, it's. But if I probably sharpen the fucking.
And wax it.
Yeah, but it's a great board.
I need to get a longer board. I got like a 152.
I ride a 158, but 152 is not bad for you. How tall are you?
I'm 5'9",
Yeah,
but that was
that's-
back when like it was cool
You
to
wanted
do
the small
grinds and
boards to
fucking
do
whip
tricks,
around.
yeah. See, I actually know my new board. My board that I had was 158. My new board's a 162.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I just like the longer. I've always ridden like a 158, just and I never rode the twin tips. I always rode a little back.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, like I always rode a free ride board. With my nose was longer than the
Mhm.
tail.
And you
you
got your feet are oriented a little bit.
Yeah,
that
my
way. It's not
foot's
straight
probably like
sideways.
this. I don't go.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine
right.
aren't sideways. I always do it like that.
Do you remember? Did Miller have the dovetail? The weird there's no way you're fucking doing.
But yeah, it was
riding
like
that,
this.
switch stance.
No, the
Yeah.
old school boards were dovetails,
Yeah.
round tails. They weren't even up.
I think it was Polka Miller.
My first board was a winter stick, and it was a round tail.
Huh.
But that was back in like 83, 84.
Miller had a Sims. It was black. I think I got it too, but the nose was a nose, but the back was like a skateboard tail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that wasn't really a switch stance.
That was probably a switchblade.
Switchblade.
That was probably the
Maybe it was.
switchblade because that was
I'll
big.
talk to him. I'll hit him up, see what it was, but I think that's still around
Because it
too.
had like a square tail. The
I'd give
switchblade
that to
had like
Mike.
a square tail, but it went up.
Yep.
It did go up.
So do you guys still snowboard?
I do. I tried getting him to go. Me, him, and John Camp are supposed to be going to Vermont this year. You remember?
What?
Killington?
Holy smokes.
Killington or Mount Snow, wherever, you know.
Dude, probably it's crazy because for you guys to go to Killington or Mount Snow would be like probably $100 more than his season pass.
Yeah, what it costs just for an all day. Yeah, it's
crazy
money.
fucking money.
Yeah,
It's like it's over $150 for me and Jenna to go to Greek Peak.
Yeah, no, I can't
and I
believe.
own my own shit.
Yeah, I went to Greek Peak a couple years ago, and a 4-hour pass was like $60. I'm like, really? You know, that's crazy.
And it's $80 for an 8-hour.
Yeah. I was like, for Greek Peak. I mean, I just don't, you know. I mean, but then when I started going to Song again, 4-hour passes were like 45, and Song's like a quarter of the size of Greek, you know. So it's like it's just the prices have gone up.
You got to catch those Freaky Fridays.
Yeah,
Whatever. It's like
where
$9
it's
or whatever.
$9 till midnight. Yeah.
Fuck
Did
yeah.
you guys ever snowboard the Alps or ski the Alps?
Where in
Oh.
Europe?
Yeah, anyone?
I've been to.
I've never skied
I've
or
been to Colorado.
snowboarded
We got to
before.
get him out.
I've been
No
to
way.
Colorado twice.
Never.
Really?
I went to Breckenridge twice. It
I was at
fun.
Tahoe once. I saw Miller.
Yeah,
Mike Miller.
but yeah, I've snowboarded Breckenridge twice. It was fun. A lot of fun. Totally different. You know, I mean, that town's a really nice resort town, and definitely the mountain's huge, and there's bowls. You know, you get up above the tree line, and there's bowls. But we weren't there during any powder each time, so it's not like skiing the bowls would have been fun. You know what I mean? Because it was all hard packed because they didn't get a storm when we were there. But I could imagine what it would be like to ski those steep bowls in the powder. It'd be awesome.
It's fearless.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Their black diamonds are like fucking triple
Yeah.
blacks here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I'd fucking die.
You'd be prepared because you learned on fucking icy black diamonds.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
That's
East
right.
Coast. You'd be like,
Yeah,
I
this
can
ain't
do
shit.
this.
It's powder.
yeah.
Because you learn by watching Better Off Dead.
That's a great movie.
You $2. I want my $2. That's all I know about skiing or snowboarding.
Was it the K12 or the K2?
K2, I
the
thought,
K2, right? Skiing the K2.
And wasn't K2 a fucking
Snowboard and ski brand.
Wasn't that a rollerblading brand
they
too?
made they also made mountain bikes and they made rollerblades too. That's what we used to call them.
That's the shit.
Don't listen to them, Reese. It's cool.
Scooters are today. Skateboarders look at scooters.
I'm gonna get
Or early 2000s where the
I respect Heelys riders more than.
But that's what it is. The scooter kids are the 90s. It's the easy way out.
Mhm.
Yeah, but what about the Disney Channel original movie Brink?
The kid with the
Soul Skaters.
Yeah, I remember the kid with the blonde hair that was like the good-looking Disney kid, teenager in every movie. I know who you're talking about.
He was a soul skater. He didn't want to do it for the money.
Yeah, there was an evil group of kids that were sponsored. Like, fuck yeah, I'll be sponsored.
Yeah. So
But every era has that
suds.
because like you had us growing up, you had the one with Christian Slater movie with the skateboarders. Tony Hawk was in it.
I've just fucking watched
Brian
that.
will
Gleaming
know.
the Cube.
Gleaming the Cube.
Great
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
I
But
like
if you
that.
want your classic Hollywood is Thrash.
Thrashing.
I own it.
Thrashing.
Daggers Rule.
Yeah, Daggers Rule.
Yeah.
And actually, Eddie
Vert
Ratatouille.
locals, or the
Eddie
rant locals.
Ratatouille still, he rode for Elva, and he was a dagger in that movie. He's got a skateboard brand called Daggers.
Really?
Yes, and he still makes his decks look old school. He's got the dagger, like on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
That was on the back. Their logos, the back of the jean jacket.
Which that movie
vest and
featured a
everything.
young Josh Brolin.
Yes.
And
The sick
Punk
dagger.
Rock Pat. Do you know him? Pat Wilding from...
Yeah,
Syracuse?
he used to have
had
the
a
agnostic
band.
front tattoo from A Cause for Alarm, the red devil guy.
But he had a band in like the early 2000s called Dagger's Rule,
Dagger's
and they
Rule.
were
I remember
based off that movie.
I remember seeing them on flyers. Dagger's Rule. I didn't know that was his band. Okay,
It's better than the early 2000s movie Grind.
I've never seen that.
I don't think I've seen Grind.
Horrible.
Is that the one that's based out of Europe?
No, they're in California.
Oh, are they in California?
It's horrible.
Is it on Netflix? I'll have to geek out on it.
It was one of those I rented back in the day when I was starting my skateboarding.
Toss me that.
Mix it up or another 12 horse?
I'll do 12 horse. You like the Oktoberfest, right?
I fuck with anything. Yeah. The Schwartz beer was my shit.
Kobe.
Yeah, Thrashing's great skate movie.
We're talking about Gleam in the Cube and Thrashing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Were there any other skate movies back then?
Thrashing had Red Hot Chili Peppers when they were actually cool. They were the band in it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
At the bar playing. Because actually the first Red Hot
Were
Chili
they
Peppers
wearing
album is actually
socks
really
on
good.
their cranks?
They were. I think Flea might have been wearing his socks on his. Yeah. But actually,
they were in Back to the Future, too, right? Flea was.
Flea was.
He was the guy.
He was like a
street
bully.
racing him in the end.
Yeah, in the end of 2, I think.
Did you ever see the movie Suburbia, the punk rock movie?
Oh,
Suburbia?
fuck yeah.
Flea's in that.
Oh, yeah,
He's one
he
of the
is.
kids
Yeah,
in
he
He's
like the rat on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
TR, the rejected.
And then when they, he's the one that put the blue slushy in the eggs, and the hard-boiled eggs at the store.
Oh yeah, dude, that movie's fucking
I can take a
sick.
piss.
That movie's raw and uncut.
I think he just put out a book called Acid for the Children or something. Or
Oh really?
yeah, Flea.
I think Flea. I could be wrong, but I thought he was in Fear.
Fear,
too.
I've
Yes,
heard that
he was in
too.
Fear.
Towards the very
Yeah,
end.
and yeah,
Yeah.
before the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Huh.
I mean, I fuck with their early shit, like
The
the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
They're,
Oh, I
they're,
listened to it today.
No,
Yeah.
Funky Mofo style or whatever that album is. That,
Mofo Party Plan.
yeah,
I got
that's
that
a
from
great
Spinero.
album, man. That's a
AJ
great
gave me
album.
that
No,
back
I
in,
love
like
Dopko
87
had
or
that.
something.
No, that's a great funky album. We saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers play with Fishbone in Syracuse.
Oh yeah.
SU University used to have this thing at the end of the year. I forgot what it was called, but it was a party, and they'd always have good bands. Like
Fall
one year,
Fest?
no, it was in the spring, but it was when they were
Spring Fest?
graduating. No, but they had the Ramones one year. We saw the Ramones, but
Fishbone, Red Hot
Fishbone,
Chili
and Red
Peppers.
Hot. That was a great.
That's a crazy
and
show.
the night before that, at the Lost, we saw the False Prophets.
Oh, are
play.
you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, so and they were there.
Oh,
The False
my God.
Prophets had their van parked in the back of the stage,
Wow.
or it was right there on Walnut Street. That park. That's where they would do it. They would put the stage up there.
Wow.
And I remember seeing the False Prophets.
Fucking
band.
wild.
But and then they had all the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Fishbone. It was awesome too, because Fishbone back when they were like really,
Oh, Truth and Soul is a great album.
yeah. But this was
Wow.
probably '87, so they were a little faster. Because
Yeah.
I just saw Fishbone in Seattle. I went out to Seattle for work probably about 3 years ago, and Fishbone was playing at a club, and I got in, and they're still really good, but they're definitely not the Fishbone of the '80s.
No.
I mean,
Wow.
they were still
They put
really
a lot of
good,
albums
Yeah.
but they
since
weren't
then.
they weren't playing the real fast, like
a lot of guys
line ass
changed
bitch,
hands.
oh my, she's a little line ass bitch,
Yeah.
really fast ska type stuff. They weren't playing that, but they were still good. They were still really good. I remember the bassist, he had like freaking like 6 or 7 basses set up.
Oh, just
And
all
after
ready
every
to like
song, after every song,
they're
he'd
like a
grab
different
a different
tune.
bass, and then this dude would go up, and I was just watching that, and he would like retune it, and I'm like, man, this band really came from like playing club shows like at the Lost Horizon. Now they're like,
Yeah.
Dude, did you think? Give me a break, dude.
yes, that's what I was
Come on.
thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking that because I'm like, dude,
Excuse me, I was trying to play line ass bitch and my bass wasn't in tune.
that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear some lion ass bitch, but I didn't hear.
I
any
think
of
the
that.
Roots still covers that song.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
'cause
I
there's
never
this-
even knew they did.
Because there was this whole big thing I remember because Sarah Palin was on Jimmy Fallon and they're his house band, and when she walked on, they played that song. Yeah. Yep.
What they're
Line ass
that's
bitch.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
That's
I had no
great.
clue that they even covered that.
Oh shit.
But another example, know thy enemy. Fucking have Sarah Palin on.
Oh yeah.
If you hate, listen to what they have to say, and then talk to them, or try to talk to them, or at least make the attempt, and then egg her car.
But then there's also
the Joe Rogan approach.
But there's also a school of thought that would say you're giving a platform to somebody that shouldn't have a platform, and it's all right to have them on, but you gotta like if they're saying something that you know is false, you gotta kind of check them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
False because you're not God either.
No, but if she's saying some things like, "Hey, we got to go to Iran because they got all this stuff and they're doing that," and you got to be like, "Nah, like they're not really doing that."
What if 50% of the people agree with her? Like 50% of the people agree with Trump.
But just because
it's not really
people
that
think
far-fetched to be like, "Oh, well, we're pretty neck and neck." It's not like.
But like something's either right or it's wrong. Like just because like 70% of people think something's right, it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
You know.
But I also want to talk to the 30% that I disagree with. Like I always want to be right, but I also want to be checked if if there's a better way to brush my teeth and I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
You gotta do it in circles.
And it's gonna save me money in the long run. I'm gonna be like, yo, I fucked up. You gotta do it like this.
Yeah, you got to be trisexual.
That's going to save me money.
Yeah, trisexual. Try anything.
But
baby.
check me if I'm wrong and be like, yo, Buske, you got to do it like this because, and this is why. Well, there's these gaps in your teeth and they're vertical and this doesn't do anything. I get it.
I still want to see Richard Spencer.
I'm loving that.
Why the dude with a black mask?
We'll throw out to City Hall tonight, whatever. That's fine.
I mean, no, Brian's right. Everybody has to have a platform, but I'm just sick of these fucking rednecks lately, and
it's
Richard
getting worse and worse.
All these
They're
people.
your countrymen.
No, I know they are, but I mean, you know what? It was just a nice. I mean, that was 2 years ago too, but it's a nice breath of fresh air to finally see the left. And I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not left.
Right, violence is
but
not.
It's finally nice to see the left finally not just waving placards and saying this and that, and they're actually fighting back.
Talk is cheap, but shouting is free.
Yes, that's all. And I mean, just everybody's got their right, but I love that the left is finally fighting back, and all of a sudden the right is crying. Oh my God, they're hitting us and stuff.
Violent left, psycho Dems.
Yeah, but they've been doing that. But the right's been doing that with the Ku Klux Klan for years.
For hundreds of years.
But now the left's finally fighting back and they're crying about it. It's like,
see, what I don't get
waving
is
placards isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, because they will say shit no matter what. Because when we're out there marching, like give piece of shit, this fucking pussy libtard, pussy soft, and then somebody fights back
and they cry.
Psycho left, violent Dems. It's just like
I just like that the left's finally fighting back.
So do I.
And they always have, like Europe's had the Black Bloc and anti-fascist movement for years. But I understand over there, I mean, they were decimated by World War II, and they don't want to see that come back. And I mean, the left coast here, Oregon and stuff, has always had Seattle, Portland. They've always had like a big anti-fascist scene, but I just think it's picked up throughout the country with Trump being in power and stuff. I think a lot of like regular people, not regular people, but people that would normally sit on the sidelines have had enough.
Like this shit is real.
Yeah, they've had enough, and they are actually starting to get involved, and not in politics, but actually like going to marches and organizing and stuff, and like paying a little more attention, not just listening to mainstream media, which mainstream media is run by the left and the right. Like people that believe like CNN is left and Fox is right. It's all bullshit. They're all
owned by the same companies.
Yeah, they're all owned by the same companies. You got to have one or the other. You got to keep me and you fighting.
Right.
You keep me and you fighting. They keep the wool over our eyes and they keep doing stuff behind our back.
The lizards.
Yes, and
the reptilians.
It's nice to see.
Anunnaki.
It's nice to see people are starting to awaken to that.
Yeah,
and
which we did. I don't mean to cut you off, but like high school, my first political thing was probably Amnesty International, or before that was my first.
They used to put shows on, not to cut you off, but they would do shows at the 4-H. I didn't mean to cut them off, but going back to shows. Amnesty International used to put shows on, hardcore shows. You had to raise money for that.
Yep.
But get to your story, then you can get back on that.
Yeah.
No, that's
when
cool.
I became political, I was vegetarian. I wrote a term paper, I think, for Mr. Traybold in like 10th grade. And this is 1989 and 90 when hormones in milk were causing breast cancer in kids in Puerto Rico. Like girls, I'm not gonna say the name. 12-year-old girls were having breasts and having their periods at 10 years old because of the hormones. I mean, this is 30 when I graduated from high school, 30 years ago.
92, right?
Yeah.
Because I graduated 88. You were 4 years younger than me.
So glad you graduated.
Don't talk to me. You better talk to your boy Dobko graduating.
Graduated, right?
He graduated, but I'm telling you, Greg, I mean, I got 70s and I didn't try. Greg was suffering to get 60s and trying.
But that sounds like
because he actually has a college education and I don't. Not
Greg
that means anything.
No, I know,
but I'm dogging Greg right now.
Yeah.
Shane Woodman's dad, shout out again to Shane Woodman and his cousin Sean and Greg.
We got to holler out to all three of those guys.
What's that?
Getting Dopko on here.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a topic of conversation for a couple
fucking he's
now.
Shane's dad, man.
Yeah, between
but finish the story.
I'm just saying, I got politicized, actually.
Radicalized.
I don't know. Was I rad? I wasn't rad. I got politicized with fucking Black Sabbath and War Pigs, and I was fucking 8 years old. But and then in high school, I learned about vegetarianism from going to fucking shows in Syracuse and talking to people that are vegetarian. And my father, not like, oh, your mother's going to have to spend more money at Wegmans to fucking buy, fucking hot dogs or whatever. Anyway.
Boca Burgers.
Courage Burgers.
But it was fun learning about shit. And Amnesty International, we got political prisoners in the world, and there's fucking political prisoners in the USA. His name is fucking
Mumia Abu Jamal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
Philly, right?
Who's the whistleblower?
Edward Snowden.
Yeah, he's a fucking political prisoner in our own country.
I thought he was in
interviews.
Moscow.
Yes, but he's our.
Did you watch
I
it?
haven't watched
It's
it
a
yet.
great
Political prisoner.
It's the best.
But he's not. He's.
Rogan's
They're
a
holding
good
him,
one.
and
Yeah.
You know Rogan
If he ever came
likes
back
him, 'cause
here, he'd be
Rogan's
assassinated.
assassinated.
Yeah.
2 words in the whole interview.
Oh, shit.
Dude, this
Listen
country.
to him.
Anyway, I was politicized, and it's good. Whether you're 14, 15 years old, talking about things, politics, listening to fucking Subhumans and Dead Kennedys, which is the reason why I got smart to it.
Oh, yeah.
Got wise to it. And back then too, you could also see Oliver North is on TV.
He should be in prison.
Lied. He lied.
Be in prison. He illegally
but
sold
now-
arms to Iran on behest of his boy Ronald Reagan.
It's a skateboard trick too called the Ollie North.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Hey, that's what this podcast is about, man.
Yep. We bring it back
Culture
down
and
to our
skating.
level.
Well done. And let's take it out on that. I mean,
No, it is good. Your eyes were awake. You were awoke earlier than most people. It's basically what you were saying. I'm saying people are finally starting to awake to the bullshit.
Which is the silver lining with this whole Trump thing.
but the
People
whole
aren't
thing
sleeping.
is with punk rock and hardcore and shit. If you're really into it, I mean, there's some people that get into punk rock and hardcore just because they want to be cool or whatever. That's like everything. But
I desperately wanted to be cool, but
no, so did
I was
I.
already smart, so I was like, "This is fucking
I'm
brilliant."
saying a lot of
This is
times,
brilliant
like
lyrics.
you get into a counterculture of hardcore punk rock, whatever. It doesn't matter. With the lyrics you were listening to and stuff like that, it awakes people a lot sooner than it does.
It does.
Because if you do really listen to the lyrics, and it all depends on how you take it. But I wouldn't have known about certain things if I didn't listen to
Right.
freaking the Subhumans or Crass.
Veganism.
And,
What the fuck's a vegan?
Vegan.
Even if and I eat meat all the time. I had a steak with Jen the other night at Balloons. I love meat, but it doesn't mean I don't know every single good thing about veganism and vegetarianism.
Yeah.
I love Earth Crisis. I was vegetarian for years, so I went to college and I couldn't eat. But anyway, it opens your eyes whether you agree with it or not. At least you have exposure to it. You're not going to get that on mainstream TV, and it's nice that you buy import records, Subhumans that you can hear about Margaret Thatcher and what the U.S. government does, and just uncensored shit from a punk rock point of view.
Yeah. No, you just are a little, it just opens your eyes a little sooner if you're really,
a lot sooner.
Yeah.
There's people that aren't even woken up yet that have no idea about any of the bullshit that we've ever done in this country to
They sit there and
democracy.
I mean, Stalin killed like 20 million Jews. Hitler killed 7-8 million Jews, which is a travesty in its own right. But the American government killed over 100 million, 80 to 100 million Native Americans, and that's not taught in our school.
Oh, the Pilgrims, they were taught how to grow corn, and they ate Thanksgiving together.
And, like
and then they were all
said,
friends.
Any killing like that's a travesty. I'm not putting like anything down like, oh, well, they, but we did that ourselves. Our own government did that.
Yeah.
But in school, we're taught how bad the Nazis were, which they were very bad. But they don't teach you. They don't teach you about your own government did the same thing.
Nope. Yeah.
Because to us, it was progress. But
Manifest
I
destiny.
learned about that by
Yeah.
listening to MDC. This band,
Unseen Holocaust. Yeah.
It's all about
millions
the
of
news.
dead cops. MDC sang about Native Americans. Like, they did some joke songs like John Wayne was a Nazi and shit like that.
But he kind of was, though.
But if you ever heard the song, it's a great song. Yeah.
He was an asshole just like Reagan was.
Yeah,
kind of
but I'm just saying,
asshole.
I didn't know any of that. I'm like, you never were taught that. You kind of were taught about the Trail of Tears, the Indians dying by bringing them to the reservations, but you really weren't taught about how we freaking murdered 80 to 100 million human beings, And I mean, we did it. The Russians have done it. The Germans have done it. The English have done it. I forget what's his name, King Leopold or something.
King Leopold in Belgian Congo.
Yeah,
he's slaughtered millions of people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Nice callback.
Yeah, every big empire has done it. It's just that, like, you try if you could have this argument with people that they don't believe our government's done that type of stuff. That's basically what I'm saying.
Can I say one thing? You're absolutely right, and everyone's done it.
Yeah.
What frosts my balls is that we do it in
Frost my balls. That's a new one. I like that. That's a new one for the podcast.
Might be the quote.
I know.
Frosting my balls.
But what grinds my gears is that, look, whoever has more force takes over. I get it. I guess.
Yeah.
But what we did is we signed treaties with these fuckers, like the Treaty of Laramie and whenever.
But they broke the treaties.
We broke the treaties.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that frosts my balls is that, yes, I know we're going to fucking go to war with people. I hate my neighbors too sometimes. But if I sign a treaty with my neighbor and I say,
thank you,
party foul,
don't drive on my driveway, I agree.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
When you drive on my fucking driveway,
Okay, thank you.
or you fish on my land, and we signed treaties with the Indians that said, we have until you guys are Johnny Cash fans, until the grass is no longer green, until the water's no longer run, this is our land. We have to fish. We have to hunt deer on this land. And the Americans, like George Washington's like, yeah, no problem, bro. And that was broken. These treaties that are broken. That's what kills me. Yes, I know. All these white people came. We have to have land. Look, I don't know. I'm not Native American. I came here from Europe, my parents, grandparents, whatever. But what kills me is that we sign these binding deals. Then we say, no, we found gold under them hills.
Yeah, there's oil there.
So, them sacred South Dakota hills, well, we're going to have to fucking...
Yeah, but don't worry, we're gonna move you to someplace really nice.
A smaller reservation. We're gonna decimate we gave you a decimal of what you had before, and now that it's rich in minerals, we're gonna fucking make it even smaller. That's what pisses me off.
And when we're done with it, we'll give you a fucking acre or two in fucking Union Springs.
Yeah.
Which is what they did now with all the Native Americans around here are in like Oklahoma or some shit, right?
Well, the Cayugas, they're actually one of 3 federally recognized tribes that don't have a
that's nice that we recognize
reservation.
Oh,
so there's a Cayuga reservation in Canada.
No shit.
Yeah. But because they fled here. It was during the Revolutionary War. It was the Sullivan campaign. So the Continental Congress didn't have money to pay the soldiers. So Washington sent General Sullivan up there to what is now the village of Aurora, There was
Peachtown.
There was a massacre there. They slaughtered as many Cayugas as they could find, and the rest of them fled up to Canada. And they had some kind of bullshit because the Iroquois, by and large, like their whole confederacy, they remained neutral during the war, but certain bands would fight for certain sides.
Okay.
So there were certain bands of Cayugas, if I'm not mistaken, that were far away from here that fought for the Brits. So they used that they use that as an excuse to go after these other guys that had nothing to do with it, so they could take their land. Okay,
are you saying that's what helped to nullify those sacred treaties?
No, I'm saying that he's saying they don't have a reservation, and that's why because they all fled.
Okay.
Yeah. So all this land that we live on, they were Revolutionary War tracks. John Hardenberg, like the founder of Auburn, that's what he founded Auburn on.
All the land I'm on, Jericho Road. I mean, my neighbor's parcel is 100 acres, square with Jericho Road.
Yeah.
And that's for sale. By the way, you better get in soon.
I'm poor.
I know, dude. I would love to buy that fucking house.
Yeah. And it's just we've gone through it before. That whole section of road is just too scary for me.
Yeah. Dude, I was thinking about that the other day. I'd find.
I was even thinking about it because I want to go see your house and stuff, but I'm so scared at the same time.
I'm done inviting your ass.
No.
Can we have a special podcast out there and just talk about the history of?
Yeah, we actually have high-speed internet now.
Yo,
if you need it.
Verizon Fios.
But actually, I'd like to make it into a recording studio. In fact, my first band was with your guest. Did we even was our band name All Gone Dead?
All Gone Dead. It was from the...
Don't talk about it until I come back. All right.
No, you can talk. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, too much politics, probably. Punk rock always brings up politics.
We always bring it back.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. We always bring it back to whatever we want to talk about.
Oh, that's cool. I don't mean to we got.
I would definitely like to stick on the politics, but I know Jake doesn't really like it. But
I don't give a fuck. Wherever you guys want to take it.
Oh no, it don't matter to me.
I like history, local history, hardcore history, skateboarding history, fucking around.
So how?
Anything.
I mean, you guys probably talked about it, but I'm gonna ask. So, do you guys remember the shows down at the Salvation Army and stuff?
Yes, fuck yeah, like the early 2000s.
Okay, I never went to them, but I remember
we were forging those flames.
Sean, me and Greg would go by and just they had the shows there. But I remember Enough is Enough's first show.
Fuck yeah,
we were there because it was.
That was Stein and Swood's band.
Yeah, it was that little shop by Beeline Auto.
A Novel Idea.
Yes.
It used to be a bookstore.
Yeah, it was there. And Sean and Shane and Cody
Laxton
and
Dustin Lovell.
Yeah, Dustin Lovell was the drummer.
Yeah, and he owns a tattoo shop now in Buffalo.
Divine Machine,
yes.
Right? With Zach Zane. Zach
Zahn, yep.
The best shop you can go to.
And Scott Zoner, I think.
Scott Zoner is fucking sick.
He'll probably.
Have you been tattooed by Scott?
No, I want to get out there and get tattooed by them all. I just haven't.
You need
Buske. We've been planning like a road trip.
Yeah, you need to get tattooed by Scott.
He's sick.
Yeah. No, I want to get tattooed.
If you have room.
No, I got a ton of room.
More
my legs. No, my legs have a lot of room. So.
Buffalo road trip to get tattooed.
Oh, Zach's on? Hell yeah. I was there the other day. I felt so bad that we didn't stop by. But
I saw you had a picture of his sister's band up here right there.
Yeah.
Schwarzbier.
Or October.
October. Even though it's November.
I heard in Germany, Oktoberfest is in like August.
Starts in
September.
Were you there? You went for G or Challen while they were having it, didn't you go there at one point?
I was there.
When they sent you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I remember you were telling me the girls do have the leader hose or whatever.
It's killer.
Yeah, like everywhere there's beer gardens and shit. It's
So
my dad was stationed in Germany when he was in the Air Force. And
nice.
Like he said, you know, I mean, my dad's been passed a long time, but I remember him telling me that he just loved Europe and like Germany. My dad loved beer, you know.
He's Irish, right? How many years removed? Like, is he father born in Ireland?
No, I think his grandfather.
Okay.
But he was stationed in Germany at the big Air Force base there. And he said that it was just great, like everywhere, the beer gardens, and like you could take the train everywhere to different countries. And it was just
because that country's the size of Michigan. Yeah. So
Is
their
that what
infrastructure is so great because.
Yeah. But you could take a train anywhere, he said. Like
no
anywhere.
Problem. Never need a car.
Yeah.
My friends were like high up in the business. They could afford BMWs. They could afford 3. Don't need one. They live in an apartment. Dope apartment. Walk to work. It's raining. Take the fucking tram to work. Yeah. It's awesome.
Well, also too, I know they're in Europe. Their government's invested in public transportation, whereas in like America in the 50s, we had a choice and like, no, we want cars. It's freedom and build roads.
Yeah.
And so it was more like a philosophical thing, is why we have cars and roads more so.
Well,
than...
cars also made capitalism. I mean, well, Ford made billions of dollars.
Well, and I heard too how they were able to sell the throughway system was that Dwight D. Eisenhower said it was going to be to transport troops in case those rescues invaded.
He based that on Hitler's.
They based it on the Autobahn.
Yeah, the Autobahn was the best
to
way
get troops quick
to build a war machine, to get tanks and supplies. So
that was how he sold it. But then they also said, "Oh, you can go drive and see your grandma out in Detroit and get this Ford motor vehicle." Yeah.
Ford, you have a great radio voice, old timer.
Ford, and I got a radio face too.
That's the best fucking radio joke ever.
Weren't we supposed to like not pay tolls on the throughway like 20 years
after it was paid for? They said, and that was years gone by.
Yeah, they psyched us out. Psych.
Yeah. Fuckers.
But I think our roads are pretty good compared to other states.
Oh,
so I don't know.
You drive through Michigan, it's like fucking.
And they see the shit they're gonna do now. It's gonna be there's no more toll booth. They're gonna scan your plate, and then they send you some kind of bill in the mail. Then you
they started that when I went to see
online.
your brother for Julie's party. Frogs Neck Bridge does that now.
Oh, really?
They scan your plate, and you remember how you used to have to stop and pay $10 or whatever. At
Even with
Frogs
Easy
Neck?
Pass?
Well, there's Easy Pass, but if you don't have Easy Pass now, they scan your plate and send you the bill to your house. Like Joe was saying. Yeah, you don't stop anymore. If you didn't have Easy Pass, you have to stop and pay $5 or $10. George Washington, you still have to stop and pay if you don't have Easy Pass, but it's going to all change, and that's all just to get rid of jobs.
Yeah, which sucks for the people who take the tolls.
Yeah,
that's a really good state pension job.
I'm not kidding.
If you forget to, that bill will go from like $8 to like 101. I learned the hard way.
Oh, did you?
Just recently.
Oh, yeah.
I think it wasn't the Tappan Z. It was one of those. It might have been the George Washington. They take your picture now.
Really?
One of those bridges.
So how did they send you? Did they send it in the mail?
Yeah,
or
they do. And
email and you just forgot?
I forgot, but $8 to 101?
That's
Come
crazy.
on, son.
Yeah, but they saw that. They're like, he's from upstate. We're going to fucking get him.
He's rich.
We're going to get that fucker.
He's rich.
Yeah, I don't know.
He works at Newcourt.
Yeah, you can afford it. Fuck you.
Undisclosed. Your location, right?
The foundry.
The local foundry. The lava pit.
Is it true that they filmed a Manowar music video back in the day?
I have
I was there. It was here.
Really?
So,
I have no clue. You have to talk to him about heavy metal. I'm not. I went from rap to punk.
So did I.
You fuck with rap.
So did I. We could talk about a lot of rap
I went from
too.
80s rap to punk. I was a break dancer at Riva Roller.
B-boy. B-boy. Yo, we need to do another episode.
Don't say another word. That's a separate podcast.
Okay. But I used to go to Riva Roller Dome and break dance.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy T. Stin out here at Riva.
Yo, it's Pig Out Day Wednesday. $5, all you can eat.
Wheelie Wednesdays, baby.
But yeah, from that BMX racing person and listen to, and a little U2 because of Dopco, but listen to Run DMC.
Sunday Bloody Sunday, time to get
Public
down.
Enemy.
Well, Public Enemy was after that. Public Enemy I still listen to this
PE,
day.
NWA, and Run DMC.
Yeah, I still listen to this
Beastie
day.
Boys.
That
Eric
stuff. But
B. and Rakim.
But I'm talking about
Brand,
that before
Nubian.
that was like Nucleus.
One for All
and,
album is
Jam
great.
on it.
Jam
Oh,
on
shit.
it. The Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. White.
Slick Rick.
Don't do it.
Vision, dreams of passion
Passion.
going through my mind. The more I see, the more I do.
Cocaine.
Yeah,
Did you ever hear that song?
Yeah, somehow
It's a
we
great
got.
song.
Somehow we had access to all that shit.
93Q used to play that shit on Saturday
Really?
nights. Saturday nights was their rap time, and we used to sit there with our boom boxes.
Do you remember taping
tape
tracks?
it? We would tape the radio.
Yes. Yes.
We would tape the radio just to
Yes.
have the songs.
Win 89.
You guys
Craig
know 89,
Heckman.
but before,
We would have
yeah.
to tape because they'd play punk and
I
like
used to
Yeah,
record
hardcore.
Smashing
hardcore.
Pumpkins
Nothing's
on the
changed.
nerve
Yeah.
in like 91.
Nothing's changed since 1950s,
Yeah.
but so you guys had Win 89 FM. I had also had Win 89 FM. My brother and I had Baba Pell. He had WSFW.
Oh, he had his out of Geneva, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
Geneva, Seneca Falls, Geneva. First time I ever heard Suicidal Tendencies, and maybe it was on fucking Future Primitive. I have no idea, but first time I fucking had a copy of it. My brother and I were at the ready.
for
And fucking dude, Institutionalized came on. We just taped everything Baba Pell played, and it was full of fucking gems. I had no idea who Suicide
Negative
was.
Approach.
Negative
maybe?
Approach
No?
is great. I
No,
love that.
not at the time. Not on that tape, at least. But
No, but Negative Approach at one album is great.
SSD Control.
SSD came later. I think I got that. I know I got that from Mary Brooke or Paolo.
Boston.
Didn't she live on this? Didn't she grow up on this street?
She grew up on this street down at the other
That's what I
end, near
thought.
the corner.
She had a pool, but we didn't skate it. We swam it.
Um,
And actually, I think I met Carl Beekner there once.
well, that was at you met him
Before
at Herman
Earth
Ave, didn't
Crisis.
you? Your brother says you guys met him at Herman Ave Playground when she was the playground director.
I met her there, but I don't think
Okay.
I met.
That's
Well, he
Beekner
said he
there.
met Beekner. Your brother did.
Yeah.
Because Carl used to date Mary Brooke, this girl, another girl that was a punk rock before us, and we met her after, and like she
single-handedly
hooked him
turned
up.
me on, dude.
Like honestly, I never would. I mean, Minor Threat
Yeah.
was because we got it from him, but he didn't even want the tape because of Minor Threat. He wanted it because the other side had Metallica on it.
Fuck
You
yeah.
lent it to Doc.
Kill them all.
Really?
Yeah, it had
Brooke
Metallica.
gave me a minor.
I don't know if
think it
you
was
got
Sid Vicious.
no,
live.
no. On the other side, whatever one you gave us had Metallica on the other side,
Really?
and me and Dopko had it. and We didn't tape it yet, and you wanted it back, and we were like just digging Minor
'Cause you know
Threat.
what?
Oh my
Yeah.
god, Minor Threat was like the first, like real hardcore. I'm saying like
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
I mean, you just
like,
hear that.
Dead Kennedys,
What happened to
Dead
you?
Kennedys, like in God We
Unbelievable
Trust was
hardcore.
hard as shit. We called that hardcore punk. Minor Threat was hardcore, you
Yeah.
know, and it was
Yeah.
like I was never straight edge, but that album still, when I skate, I rock the
Well, tell me more about that.
the blue album or whatever, the one with all their stuff on
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
They had a blue and a red
The
one.
discography.
Yeah, the discography,
so I think
but
I
you
did
had the
sleep on
tape, and
that.
we got that from you.
And it came back to me through Miller because I thought, as Miller played In My Eyes, I'm like, oh, Minor Threat. And I think I did sleep on it, dude.
I
And
think you did. I think you
slept
wanted
on-
it back because you wanted whatever was on
Because
the
I
other
think Miller
side.
turned me on. It was cool. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But once Miller played that for me, and I also slept on fucking Rain and Blood. Tommy
But that came
Presto.
from that came. I'm just
That was
that
Brooke.
came from Mary
Brooke-
Brooker Powell.
Okay.
Single-handedly,
She was
made
into
me
punk rock.
Single-handedly,
Yeah,
made
she
me
was.
punk
She
rock.
dated Carl Beekner.
And
from
then
Earth
you
Crisis.
guys, you and Greg,
before
and
Earth
Jeff,
Crisis.
and then that shit happened.
So it's safe to say that women were the foundation of the scene here in
There
Auburn.
was a lot
That's
of
fucking
girls
nuts,
that were
dude.
into like
Yeah.
Mary
Fucking
Woodman,
Micheline was
Mary
cool.
Brooke.
You can speak to that, but
I mean, I'm just saying they were into it way before us.
Brooke was
God knows
absolutely.
where are
there
they
was
now,
Mary
Auburn
Ball.
Hardcore and shit.
Yeah.
Mary Ball, this girl that dated Steve Kochi, and then she dated Jeff Dobko. She was a punk rock girl.
So were there any zines back then? That people from like Auburn doing zines?
There was zines,
or-
but they were from Syracuse.
Okay.
Like
Like,
Carl Gambrell had one,
did he?
and then
Yeah,
I
that was
think
probably after my
my
time.
brother did one.
Carl Gambrell, my story with him is we went and saw Bill Danforth and the Elva team at Wayne's Bike Shop.
Oh, yeah?
For a demo.
Who drove?
I did, me, John Camp, and Carl. And I don't know. Do you guys know Carl Gambrell? He lives in New York now.
No.
He's an old skater, punk rock kid from the day.
Yeah, Carl had excellent taste in music too.
His brother was a punk rocker before us, Brian.
Right. I thought
This is crazy. As soon as we peel back the onion,
I forgot all about that.
shit.
Brian had a band in the Battle of the Bands at the high school that played punk rock music. They were like a Sex Pistols Clash type punk rock.
Okay.
You know, but he
With,
had
like, the studs on the jacket,
he had like a jean jacket with studs and like, you know, that style and the boots, like engineer boots. And blonde spiked hair, you know, but I'm talking for 85 blondes, you know, just
you were making a statement.
Yeah, you were making a statement. Now you see people spike, you know, everybody.
You're like, wow, that's great fashion.
On Pinterest.
Fashion forward.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I forgot Carl's brother Brian was a punk rocker before a lot of people.
I'll tell you, Carl.
This is
good in his
Brian
own
who?
Brian Gambrell.
Gambrell. Reach out.
Yeah, he's still in Auburn. He's still, I think he's in the Air Force. No, he's in the Air Force.
I talk to him once in a while.
He works at the Air Force base. The one that does the drones in Syracuse.
Okay.
I have not lost touch with my.
I talked to Carl once in a while.
I was just at a show in New York City. Carl was around.
Oh, you and Brian.
But I see Brian too in bars.
No, you and John Camp went to a show with Carl, didn't you?
Yep. And Carl was there for Jawbox. I told these guys, I'm like, I was trying to think like the oldest punk rock influence I had. And I think Drew Casey had that fucking dope Government Issue shirt.
Sure, yeah. He was. Did you tell him how Drew Casey became in Auburn?
I don't even know that much.
Okay,
Drew
Casey. When I was in 12th grade, all of a sudden there was this kid, and we had to go to East Middle for 12th grade because it was the asbestos in the high school.
I've heard about that.
We were going to school at East Middle for half a day, and I remember like. Weird punk rock, you know. Me and Greg got into punk rock. You know, I looked like Johnny Rotten. My hair was like I tried to bleach it blonde, but it came out like orange spiked hair.
Hell yeah.
I wore like a suit jacket.
I did it wrong.
Yeah, you know,
Miller also went to Salvation Army.
You would get suit jackets because that's what you saw. You know? And all of a sudden, this guy's first day of school. Me and Greg were skateboarders. We're like punk rock.
Fucking badass.
We're like Chris Thomas had a big mohawk then.
Yep.
Chris with his circle jerk shirt, he had he like always rocked that circle jerk shirt. Like, but we were in school like 12th grade. Chris is like his third time in 12th grade. You know what I mean? It's like 20
third time's a charm.
You know, but anyway, he was a good dude. But all of a sudden, like we're sitting there and this kid comes with these huge Liberty spikes. Like you come from the Statue of Liberty. But they were gigantic. I'm like, what the fuck? I never saw it. And it was Drew Casey. He moved up here that summer. His dad was a doctor, Dr. Lowe. I don't know if you guys ever remember Dr. Lowe. Well, that was his stepdad. Well, Drew got into punk rock down in New York and was getting in a bunch of trouble. So they moved up to Auburn, New York.
Wow.
And Drew actually came up, and that motherfucker rocked the Government Issue.
Yeah.
He had like some like World War I style jacket he'd wear, and he had Doc Martens. The first dude I ever saw with a real pair of Doc Martens.
Fuck.
So was he involved with like the early like A7 scene down there?
Not A7, CBG was him. You know, that was when CBG was 86, 87. I think A7.
Cool. So that sounds like the second wave, but still, that's fucking OG as fuck.
Yeah, he came in and he had like Oxblood Doc Martens. And I bought those ones off him. They were my first pair. I bought them off him because he got a new pair. He went back down the city and got a pair. But so that's how Drew Casey.
He imported the core.
He came up, and that's where we got a lot of bands like Reagan
Drew
Youth,
Casey.
False Prophets. That all came from Drew with me anyway, because Drew was from New York. Reagan Youth was from New York, and he brought like bands like Breakdown. I never heard of Breakdown before. And he had Breakdown, the Demo 87. That album's
with
awesome.
The
broken skateboard and shit. And Drew like was a big influence on us because he brought a lot of music like the New York scene.
Is he still here?
No, he got arrested. Him and this kid Ed Rocker, we called him. Ed came up the next year. And Ed was this punk rocker, and he was going to CCC. And him and Drew worked at Walden's Books. This is a good story here, okay?
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to get some cash. Well, Drew worked there, and he knew that the lady would bring out the money. Well,
inside job.
Drew Drew parked his car at the old Kmart where now the RV center is at the mall.
Holy
And
fuck.
the car parked in front of him. Well, the lady came out with the money. Ed like had a mask on and shit, and took the money from her, but jumped in the wrong car. Jumped in the husband's car.
Dude.
Yeah, jumped in the husband's car.
Ed
Whatever.
Rocker.
They ended up getting arrested. They did time in Auburn. Just
Holy
the jail,
fuck.
not Auburn.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
the jail.
Yeah.
And
CCJ.
my brother was in jail at the same time, right? And I came in from Syracuse to see him. And my brother was like, what the fuck's up with these dudes, man? And I go, what? He goes, they say they know you, Drew and Casey and Ed, this and that. I go, yeah, I know them. And he goes, yeah, they're in here fucking shining their Doc Martens all the time. Because you could wear your own shit, but they weren't this steel toe. You could wear your own shoes.
Really?
He goes, those motherfuckers are always sitting there shining their Doc Martens and stuff.
Pull-ups
And
all
I'm like,
fucking day.
yeah. Because my brother was, you know my brother Phil, he's like a tough
Yeah,
guy. You know,
dude.
he was a Golden Gloves boxer.
Is he into
so-
hardcore?
No, he's like 10 years
Not
older
even
than
remotely.
me. No, he's
I gotta
10
take a
years.
piss.
He fucking listens to ZZ Top and shit, you know. But no, it was just funny that I remember him telling me that story
That's
that he
great.
did time with them, you know,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, they're in there always sitting there, spit shining their Doc Martens. But
Oh,
long story
shit.
short, Drew ended up became a skinhead, moved to Arizona, and you remember Eric said he was hanging out with Nazi skinheads there.
Oh, does Eric see him?
No, this was back in like when Eric first moved to Tucson.
Oh.
Was hanging out with some Nazi skins, and they like caught on to his game, and I don't know. Now he works for the
You know what?
government. I heard he works for the government. That's what his dad, because his dad was my doctor, and his dad just said he works for the government. And he couldn't tell me anything else,
Yeah.
whatever that means. You know what I'm
He's in
saying?
prison.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. So.
For sure.
But Drew Casey brought up a lot of music.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like he turned me on to a lot of music I didn't know from New York. He actually brought us down to New York City, me and Greg, for the first time. And we saw CBGBs and shit. This was 88. And
That's when I was a real hood rat.
it was real. Yeah, it was still ghetto. Like you went down there and there was still like.
it was still ghetto in '93 when I was
Yeah,
there.
I mean, when
Sure.
me being a 17-year-old, because I was 17 and I graduated high school when I was 17, you know, because my birthday's later in the year. And I remember going down there. I drove my Ford Fairmount down with those guys. And we stayed at Ed Rocker's parents' house. We called him Ed Rocker because I don't even know his last name because punk rocker, but it's
Okay.
Ed. He had terror spikes too. We just called him Ed Rocker.
Hell yeah.
And we stayed at his parents' house on Staten Island. Then, like the next day, Drew actually the night we got there, we couldn't get in, but Sham 69 was
No
playing
shit.
in there.
They're still around.
Yeah, they're still around. He saw Sham 69 that
Kids All
night.
United.
Yeah. And that was
Wow.
back when the
Brooklyn,
skinhead
that
scene
fucking-
was big in New York, you know. It kind of came around in 88 again when it was on Geraldo. You ever see the Geraldo show? You got to watch that with the skinheads on it. Geraldo Rivera. He gets his
No.
nose broken by the Nazi skinheads through a chair.
I saw
Nazi
the Hell's
skinheads-
Angels Geraldo.
The
That was
Nazi
funny.
skinheads getting
Yeah.
a fight with regular, like, sharp skinheads
Holy
from
fuck.
New York. It was because Geraldo was in New York. A big brawl.
He was a fucking weird dude
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
He'd do all
Geraldo?
those.
Do those shows. Yeah, and that was back around that time. And so Drew went to that show that night. And then the next day, we went to, like, Bleecker Bob's, you know, the record store. Then he brought us to another record store, and like just it was cool because you could get any punk rock you wanted. You know, I remember leaving there with like coming back from New York with like 6-7 albums. You know,
Yeah.
which you know back then you were lucky if you went to Cabbages in Syracuse and you saw an Exploited album. You know, or some. You know, Gnostic Front, Circle
Yeah.
Jerks, you know, Dead Kennedys, but down there you could get whatever, you know, it's like, oh my God, you had to like decide what you wanted to get because there was so much good shit.
We went on a school trip to Boston, and I went to, I think it was Newberry
Newberry
Comics.
Comics.
They
yeah.
had a fucking legit, I mean, this was CDs.
And
But
they've got
no,
I spent every
they
cent
got-
I brought.
No,
on CDs.
Newberry
Figure
Comics.
out-
I was there when I would go to Boston. I always made a trip to Newberry
Yeah.
Comics.
That was a cool spot.
That was a
man.
proper
They've got
spot
one in the
for punk
Commons now,
rock.
too.
Yeah.
This was 2003, 4.
No, you could get Newberry Comics in Boston. That's where you wanted to go if you
Yeah.
wanted to get punk rock.
Those
Punk
are
Punk
Kim's
rock
Comics. Kim's
hardcore.
Comics.
Kim's Comics in Auburn. Did you talk about
Oh,
Kim's?
Kim,
yeah, we did.
Draheim.
Ah, you do. You remember. You remember.
No, Kim's
Jim
Comic. That's, I got my first
You have to
Slapshot album.
make it
at
into
Kim's
sports,
Comic.
don't you?
Oh, shit.
That's
And I
your
love Slapshot.
mnemonic tool. That's
And I'm
okay.
not straight edge, but I love Slapshot.
Yeah.
I got it at Kim's Comics. I got that. I think I got Exploited Horror Epics there. And Tim's had a bunch of stuff.
So much shit. So to be honest, a lot of my shit was metal, but my brother got some, just random shit. But then I do special order, like for Sex Pistols or something like that. But we go with you or
over to like
Desert Shore, Subhumans,
and then my girlfriend there at the time, her name was Trevor. She would order anything you wanted, and like Desert Shore had anything. Like,
so what was that?
Desert Shore was
on Market Street.
Originally, there was Modern Records. It was on Krause Ave, and they had all the punk stuff. And then Modern closed, and Desert Shore was a used record store. Well, when Modern closed, they kind of like picked up on ordering like all like punk rock and everything, and like that's when Lookout was huge, and you could get any Lookout album there. And my girlfriend at the time, Trevor, was working there, so she ordered all this stuff, and she was a punk rock chick. She was like, I was 18 dating her, she was 26.
Whoa, she was already in there.
She was
round the cradle.
She had the buzz.
she had a Chelsea.
The Chelsea, that's sad. Yo,
Tony Hawk.
Dude.
No, the Chelsea. No, it was like
you had
the sideburns.
The
sideburns was the bang.
That's sad,
dude.
Yeah, but and she had like red hair, and she wore Docs and flight coat and everything. But she ordered all the stuff. Like she ordered like you could get anything, and like since I was dating her, I had all the real crass albums with the posters, all the blurred Subhumans. Yeah. But like she like turned us on to Lookout Records, and it's like,
Operation Ivy.
Operation Ivy, Filth. Yeah. If you ever listen to the band Filth, like Filth is like you got to check them out. Like they're a big like Mohawk band.
Oh,
but back in then this band Blatst, named after Blatst Beard, Blatz.
Yep.
And then Crimp.
I've never heard of it.
If you want to get blitzed, drink Blatz.
But Burra Lookout, and then Crimp Shrine and Cringer. They're like just like you remember all those bands?
Yeah.
No, but they were all like 7 inches because Lookout was a big 7-inch band. Green Day's first thing was on Lookout, and that's actually not a bad album.
They had a few albums on Lookout before they got picked up.
Yeah. Was that Kerplunk or was that before?
Yes,
before Dookie, right?
Because they played 924 Gilman Street all the time, and they get like
I went to Gilman with
booed off the stage, and they just kept playing.
I went by that when we were out in California, but I don't think there's shows there anymore, right?
I think they still it's still a collective. You can't stage dive anymore because they got sued or something like that.
Yeah, you couldn't stage dive when I was there. They had a big sign, no stage dive.
Who did you see? Just local bands?
I saw a band 15 More Minutes. I think Crimp Shine played. Yeah, they were all like local Lookout bands when we were there. Filth, actually, it sucked because Filth and Blatz, they were my 2 favorite bands on Lookout. At the time, they played the night before we got there. It was a Thursday night show, and I was bummed, man, because like everybody, like I liked Filth around here, and everybody hated them because they were a Mohawk, like exploited. They sounded like
fuck yeah,
you know.
That was definitely.
I love that logo with the fucking skeleton with the fucking sickest Mohawk.
That band's great.
Yeah, love that shit.
But so nobody liked them, but it's so funny now because now they're like with like. You know how if you look on Instagram and stuff and you go to shows like that Exploited 82 Punks is back. People with Mohawks and shit. Yeah. And it's weird to see these guys are all rocking like Filth shirts. And I never thought Filth would be like, an iconic band.
So did you save all your merch and stuff and you can sell it back to them?
No, I wish I did. But recently, like 6 months ago, I went on there's this, I forget the t-shirt thing. It's called No Gods, No Masters, and they sell like a lot of punk rock shit. And they sold a Filth t-shirt, and I bought one.
Oh, nice!
I rock the Filth shirt now because I still listen to Filth. They're like, you got to check them out.
That's more homework for Joe and I.
Yeah. Filth, Blatz, Blatz. I mean, it's just good music, just good punk rock. Blatz is like weird. I mean, they're not like Filth, they're not that Mohawk punk, like exploited punk, but. Blatz is just they have this song "Fuck New York," and like now, like back then, I hated like a lot of New York bands, and they're like, but people hated them back then.
Wait, why? Was it because of the Cause for Alarm album?
No, a lot of like San Francisco Maximum, because Lookout was kind of Maximum
Rock and Roll.
And they thought bands like Agnostic Front and Warzone were like Nazis and stuff.
Yeah, because of the Cause for Alarm album.
Yeah, like yes, because of the Cause for Alarm with Public Assistance.
Yeah,
the song
which was written
Public
by
Assistance.
Peter Steele. Wrote most of that shit.
Yeah, when you were saying Cause for Alarm, at
thought
first
the band,
I banned Cause for
yeah,
Alarm, and I'm
yeah.
like, no, because they were actually pretty punk rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cause for Alarm album with Public Assistance and shit like that. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know Peter Steele was like fucking.
Yeah, he
into
produced
that.
Yeah, the
album.
drummer for
Peter Steele
Carnivore
used to be a
played
skinhead.
it.
No shit.
Yeah.
There's,
you ever see the
there's like a
pictures
picture
of
of
Peter
him. He's
Steele?
going into CBGB.
He was across the
He's got a
street
Fred
at the bodega.
Yeah, he's got a Fred Perry on him with a shaved head.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, back in
Crazy.
like the '82 skinhead days. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and then, but yeah, no, when exactly it was like the Public Assistance records and stuff like that, or the song.
Yeah, which is
a
fucked
great
up.
song. I mean, Public
Yeah.
Assistance is a total like what Oi was about, and that wasn't Oi; it was metal. But
Yeah,
real Oi was about working class and that. And
yeah,
like, I mean, if you really think about it, if you're sucking off Public Assistance and you don't really need it, you know, that's what they were singing about. They were singing about people abusing the system. But the Maximum Rock and Roll days, like, what was his name? Tim.
the guy who founded it, he died.
Tim something.
It began with like Rohannon or something.
Yeah, Tim Yohannan.
Yeah,
Like,
Yohannan.
And those, like, Lookout and all those bands, like, didn't like New York because of that. Because they were, like, Maximum Rock and Roll. You know,
Yeah.
like...
Well, and because they were more of like a crossover sound, and it wasn't that
it
quote
wasn't
unquote
traditional.
pure punk rock.
Yeah, where it was... And now you think about it, it's like...
But I'm a big fan of that era, like the crossover era, because that breathed life into punk.
Yeah.
Because things were starting to get... you're writing the same riffs over again, and then you
yeah.
get this injection of like heavy metal and thrash. It kind of like they had some awesome bands. The Agnostic Front stuff, Crumb Suckers were great.
Chris was just talking about the Crumb Suckers the other day. Actually, because the guy in... was he in the Crumb Suckers or the Necros? I think it was the Crumb Suckers. The Crumb Suckers were from New York, right?
The Necros were from Ohio.
Okay,
Yeah.
then the Crumb Suckers. Chris Chisholm just went and saw what's Peter Steele's band? We were just talking
Carnivore.
about Carnivore AD. He just saw
Yeah.
Carnivore AD, and he was saying the guitarist was the original member of Sheer Terror, and then he was saying that the bassist was from the Crumb Suckers.
Oh, cool.
He just saw him in Rochester.
So he's doing like the Peter Steele parts then?
Well, these two guys, and then the drummer, Chris knew the drummer. He told me what bands they were in, but he saw Carnivore AD, and they basically play Carnivore.
Yeah.
But none of them are Carnivore.
Which
Original Carnivore
that's
members.
so weird because
Yeah.
it's like he was the band. When you think of that, you think of Peter
But he
Steele with
said
the
they
fucking
did,
chain on his bass.
Yeah.
And,
He said they did a great job. I mean, he said it sounded great, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just talking about Peter Steele. But the Crumbs, no, you're right. And like DRI with the crossover and stuff, DRI like ripped, you know. Their first couple albums were great. And then they did crossover and all that. And that's still good.
Yeah.
You know, it did definitely breathe life into it. I mean, then bands like The Exploited, you know, they like jumped on it. And I love The Exploited, but they jumped on every bandwagon there was.
Oh, they did a...
Yeah,
they did
like Beat the Bastards album.
A crossover.
Yeah,
I didn't know
like
that.
crossover and stuff. And I only liked, because I only liked their early stuff, like the UK 82 stuff. But then they went like metal and like everybody.
Well, it seems like a lot of bands did. I mean,
they wanted to keep
Sheer
going.
Terror did like a metal record.
Some of my favorite Bad Brains albums are metal.
See, I've never been a Bad Brains fan.
Yeah,
I think
Die
every
Against Die and
single
Quickness are
punk
awesome.
like hardcore band did like a crossover. Even what broke them up, SSD, they did that metal record.
The second album, people hated it. I just reading on it.
It was like How We Rock, and then it was...
I think that's the only one I had.
There was How We Rock, but there was one after that. It was like a building. It was like a tower. I forgot.
People like booed them off stage and stuff when they were playing.
Yeah.
Because people wanted to hear that first album.
The Kids Will Have Their Say. And then
when they were running up to the government.
Get It Away came after that, which is also really good too. But they played a show... I think it was.
Aren't they playing again? Like,
I don't know, because I don't think Springer gets along with Al. I think they still have beef from like years ago. But they play one of their last shows was in L.A. and it was with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, was it?
It was like '84 or something like that. They all had long hair and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just remember seeing things like, because it was before our time that they were talking about getting booed off stage because everybody wanted to hear the
Play something fast.
Yeah, fast. And they were playing like metal, and they hated it. People hated it.
But like they should have kind of like gone at it a little bit more because I think they kind of fell victim to like just playing what people wanted them to play. And I think if they're like, no, fuck you, we're gonna play this shit, I think they could have stuck around a little while longer. You know, because sometimes people they're not used to.
I'll get it in.
Yeah, you just gotta slam it in inch by inch, like a gentleman.
Or just eat it. Nah, dude, that was too sexy.
That's hot.
You said you were at the Manowar video?
Oh yeah,
Can we
talk
go back
about
to
that. Yeah.
So we heard about it. It's probably it was either I think it was in summer, so I would have been home from Buffalo. I don't know what year it was, but I think one of the Danique was like, "Yo, there's a video for."
Was it
I don't
Return of the
even know.
Warlord
Dude,
song?
I'm not a huge
Yeah.
fan. I'm sorry,
Brothers.
stores.
Like, we do just what we feel, riding horses made of steel.
Probably.
The Louder Than Hell album?
Yes.
93, 94.
I think it was like 96 or
It
95.
was probably certainly between 92 and 96.
Because that's when you were at
Because they have a
Buske.
video. They're
Yeah.
riding like the motorcycles through town, and you can tell it's like Auburn.
walking them through. They're like kind of
Right?
Their studio was behind me in Micheline's house on State Street. They were on Pulaski.
Oh yeah.
I think it's still there.
Is it still there?
There was
Magic-
one on Logan
Magic
too.
Sword.
where
The old where they
yeah,
got
where-
the lofts
yeah.
now. They were there and then they moved over. It might have been on Logan at that time.
Maybe. I mean,
Old
I
I'm
Piano
sure, it was at
Factory.
Logan. I'm
Guitar
sure it was at
lessons
Logan then.
from Carl Logan before he got arrested for. I
Child,
Fanny
whatever.
pack?
I shouldn't say this on the podcast.
We've actually said it
But-
before, so you can say
Yeah,
it.
just
Yeah.
All I know is All I know is that I took guitar lessons from him, and then after my lesson, like at a 30-minute lesson, this hot fucking high school girl, and I was my 20s. This girl was clearly teenage high school girl. She'd come in for lessons. I don't know. I didn't listen to her play, but I was paying him, and I'd walk out. I think it was $10 an hour, and but it ended up being I think he married her or raped her.
Oh,
I know
shit.
Damn.
There's a
She took
difference
lessons for many
between
years
there,
and
but-
sucked at guitar. Let's say that.
But I don't know. He was clearly 25 years old, and this chick. And I heard they were dating, and anyway. I hate. I'm
Back
not
to
a
the
gossip-
Manowar video shoot.
I'm not a gossip guy. I'm like, I have nothing to say. Anyway, I took guitar lessons from that dude. It was either between 92 and 96. It was corny. They had all these video cameras. They blocked off like Genesee Street from like Dunkin' Donuts to Parker's.
Oh, wow. Okay.
'Cause these guys weren't ripping wheelies down like fucking Hell's Angels. They're walking like
Right.
neutral, like walking. You know, how you learn how to
No, yeah.
walking them down so they can get
No
a nice,
one
good
controls our goddamn lives.
They had some Honda Gold Wings.
shot. It was nothing, dude. It was nothing. Yeah, Goldwing,
Not Harleys.
dude, it was weak. But I went down with the Nikos.
Someone told me they had a music video at then Auburn Off Steel in the melt shop, but that's probably just pure
I don't
rumor.
know.
That would be sick though.
It
wouldn't
would be. I could
Some
picture
Terminator
Austell
shit.
doing shit like
Yeah,
that.
they
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
give a
happen
fuck.
now, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a Man-O-War hater because I know a lot of people look up to them. I'll tell you, the first album I had was fucking pretty good. And like Black Wind, Fire, and Steel is a fucking good album. But being the kings of metal and then just putting out fucking hard rock, it's not fucking metal, dude.
I never
It's not metal
understood
at all,
it,
dude.
honestly.
I had the Louder Than Hell CD. I had a T-shirt. It was sick. It was that dude. And he had
And
like,
they promised that it was.
dude, he had like the sword. It was going like this, and he had all these babes here, and they're like butt ass
Wasn't
naked.
that like a
And it said
rip off of
Hell
like
on
a Kiss
Earth
album
on the back.
cover? Didn't they have
I
like?
didn't like Kiss either.
No, I didn't.
See, that's
Fuck,
weird because
'cause
a
I
lot
grew
of
up
like
with
older
Black
guys love Kiss
I know,
for
and
some
I'm sorry.
reason.
I'm not sorry because I grew up in the real shit, Black Sabbath, and then Kiss comes out, And I'm like, yo, Jonathan, this is going to be banging. And they're like, we're like, fuck this
Rock
shit.
and roll all night.
This shit should be awesome.
Their face
And we're
paint did not match
so
the music.
fucking weak.
But-
It did not, right. Perception did not match the fucking reality.
But that's
So
what I
like,
never
we're listening to
got.
Black Sabbath and fucking Ozzy Osbourne. Kiss is fucking garbage.
Well,
I'm sorry.
because I see all these guys that I look up to, like the dudes from I Hate God and all that. They're like, yeah, we
Sure.
love Kiss,
Florida Frank Club,
and I always
Brian
wondered
Zotto
why.
loves.
Yeah.
These guys are like my
Winstein
heroes.
loves
Kirk
Kiss.
Winstein says it's, and I always wondered, it's like Kiss. I don't.
Pantera, Dimebag, all those guys.
Yeah.
That's great, but I hope they like the songs like Beth, because they're certainly not influenced by the fucking. There's a couple rockers, but weigh in, Tim.
No, I was gonna say I was late on the bandwagon because I wasn't a metal dude, but I had this friend we called Mothball,
Nice.
and he
Mothball.
remember
They
Mothball?
smell like 'em?
yeah, and he turned me on to Black Sabbath when I was like 20,
Is that Lucy?
and like that. I remember that first album he played me with Paranoid, and I heard Paranoid. I'm like, this is
It's
the
a
most
rap.
punk rock song.
It's a rap.
And I was like,
Thank you
this
for
is the
saying
most
that.
punk
I
rock
thought
song
I was
I've
the only one
ever
who knew that.
heard. And then after that, I liked Black Sabbath.
a
But
rap.
I mean,
Black
when
Sabbath.
I went to school and I was a punk rock kid, and you didn't get along with headbangers then. Like kids with like Metallica shirts and Black Sabbath, you just didn't like them because they didn't get
Which
it.
is insane.
But now
Yeah.
you're the same, you are, but you didn't like each other, for some
Yeah.
reason you didn't like each other. And but I was late on the game, and Black Sabbath's legit, man.
Yeah,
At
Paranoid
least
really
at
is a
least
punk rock
that
song.
like album I had, Who Sold Your Souls for Rock and Roll or whatever.
Well, you got a good taste. That's a compilation album. Of
yeah,
all
but that was
the
like
hits.
with the Wizard and
Yeah.
War Pigs.
Everything.
And War Pigs, I mean, you don't get a more political song than War
Right.
Pigs. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you ever want to hear a good punk rock version of it, Reagan Youth does live. It's only live, but they
Oh,
do War
really?
Pigs live, and it's awesome.
Huh.
Dave Insurgent is just great.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. He's like, he sings it. It's alive, and it's like, it just rips, man.
When I was in high school, my art teacher's his cousin was in Reagan Youth.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and he used to play a lot of
Really?
punk rock for us, and we still see him every now and again.
Wasn't
Down in
he
Ithaca.
either he was or knew someone that played one of the baseball Furies in the Warriors?
Yes, and his
So he was one of the Furies, or he knew someone who
he
was?
knew a Fury,
Oh, okay.
and he knew a guy in the Cramps too.
Wow.
Yep.
Southern Cayuga High School art teacher.
Well, yeah, he was from like Long Island.
Long Island.
Long Island.
Oh, okay.
It's cool though, like New York hardcore and stuff always like is like talk about, like if you read Roger's book and stuff,
Yeah.
they talk about the gangs
yeah,
that
they-
used to be on the lower
It was
East Side.
actually like that. I mean, they didn't have like the face paint, like
but that
mimes
was
and
real
shit.
stuff. Like
That was
the
really like
gangs
that.
ran the like
Yeah.
lower, like Manhattan.
There's-
Cortland Ranges.
There's a documentary called Rubble Kings. It was on Netflix, and it talks about all the
check
gangs
it out.
back then. It was really good.
But they talk about
And they
hiding
had like
from
the vests and everything. And
But
it was
you know how Roger, I don't know if it was in the Godfathers of Hardcore or the book, talks about like they would have to like make peace with the gangs.
there
'cause
was
the
a gang
gangs
on the
that
Lower East Side.
side
I think
that-
it was the Hitmen,
that
and
let
he
them-
spoke Spanish, so
they were
he was
cool
able
with
to
him,
talk to them.
because they were like, who are all these weird dudes coming in?
Yeah, and he's like, "Don't worry about
for
it."
the shows and stuff.
yeah, because they thought that the punk rock kids were also a gang.
right, a different
yeah,
gang because they
Wow.
looked different.
And so they wanted him to
Because
pay
they
a
were
tax.
gang. We
Yeah,
were a
yeah,
gang.
yeah.
We were fucking.
But he talked to him and stuff, and they made
yeah,
peace.
I remember that.
Yeah.
part of the book.
Yeah, but it was cool because that shit's actually real.
Yeah, because if you did you read Harley's book?
no, but I heard that's
Harley
a great
Flanagan?
book. I heard it.
I let my
That's good
friend
too, yeah.
borrow it, or else I'd let you buy it. But he was actually wanted by one of the gangs. That's why he had to leave town for a while because there was like a hit out on him because he had beef with one of like the local gangs.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
It's
so
actually
like,
You want a baseball Fury coming after you.
that I was telling you how the Agnostic Front put out their new album. Well, one of the song I saw 2 videos on YouTube, and one of them's I Remember, and it's all old pictures of like Rabies and Harley
Yeah.
when they were all skinheads, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And they were just showing pictures from the 80s.
don't forget the struggle. Don't forget the
They
streets.
were in Jimmy Gestapo. They were just. It's a great. It's only like in what I like about it is it almost is like Victim in Pain. It's like the 2 songs I heard off it, I remember, and I can't think of the other song name that they had the video for, is just straight up punk rock.
That's,
like Victim in Pain style. But,
Yeah.
When's the first time you heard Victim in Pain?
Chet. Another person I'm going to talk about that we haven't talked about yet is Chet. What was Chet's last name? He had a brother Mark too. I can't believe I can't remember it right now. They called him Checkers. He was Mary's best friend, Mary Woodman's best friend. Chet. I want to say Thomas, but it's not Chet Thomas. Chet Thomas was a pro skateboarder. Chet.
Kept thinking him.
I can't think of it, but his name was Checkers, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name for the life of me right now.
Reach out.
Chet, he was a great artist too. He was one of Al Alger's. They were tight, and
is Al older than Donnie, or is
Al's
Donnie?
younger than Donnie?
Okay,
but we went to Chet's house, and Chet was like, "Hey," he started playing us some music, and he pulled out this album. He goes, "You guys will like this," and it was an all black album, and it just in the letters raised up on it, embossed, and it said "Victim in Pain." It was the original "Victim in Pain." And he
first pressing.
Yeah, first pressing, and he
it's
put
probably the second pressing, because the first pressing had the Auschwitz thing.
Oh, you're right with the guy. Yes.
So
not many of them.
Wait, but there's
out.
There's a cover that's not the one that you're talking
was
about.
Revelation. That one you were talking about was on Revelation Records, but there was one that you're talking about.
I know the one that he's talking about.
First time I
didn't know there was
album
another one.
Dan Mahalik's bedroom.
Yeah, but this one it was just
the
an
cover
all
of
black
the dude
album.
by the pit.
Yeah,
And
with
I think that
hanging
was too
there,
much.
right?
While they were gonna
Shoot him. Yeah,
shoot him. It was like a Holocaust.
But then there was one on Revelation that
yeah.
Chet had Checkers, and it was just an all black album, and it just said "Victim in Pain," and the letters were raised up, and it said "Agnostic Front."
So they got
you could only see it
now.
You could only see it if you looked up.
So
and
at
this was
some
probably
point,
about 85.
So at some point they got censored that.
Or they changed it.
Because I only know that one that you're talking about. I didn't know they had to change the album cover.
I think I bought the CD years later, and it was
like what
censored.
I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and he played that, and I'm like, this is awesome, man. It was different because I heard Minor Threat already. You know, Minor Threat was hardcore, but this was just like, what the heck is this? And then we saw the pictures, because that's back when you would pull out the album cover, and they would always have pictures and then bands they thanked. That's how you knew to get another band. You know, and then we looked at it, and they were all like skinheads and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, these dudes, you know, they were all like skinhead dudes and shit on the picture. And then it would like think like, I don't even know. This ain't true. You know, I'm just using words like a war zone or these law. No, you know what I mean? And that's how you knew what band to get. Yes. And like, okay, if I see a Cro-Mags album, I'm going to get the Cro-Mags album, because Agnostic Front, this album I just love. Thank these dudes, you know? But that's back then, because there was no internet. There were, you know, you had to get, you only knew bands if somebody told you, or especially if you're in Auburn, New York, you saw them.
You bought every demo that they had. You bought all the merch you could.
Or that band thanked another band on their thank you list, and you got that band. But another album that hit me pretty good was Warzone, the one with Don't Forget the Struggle, Don't Forget the Streets.
Yeah.
That album's awesome. Even though my favorite Warzone song isn't on that, it's the anthem one. That Lucy.
Hey guys, can I be on the podcast too?
Just lay down, girl.
Ray Bees was actually the first drummer for AF, but he couldn't really play any of the films, so they kicked him out.
No, he was. Yeah, he was the first. It was him. Well, Vinny or Roger wasn't even the singer.
It was John Watson.
John Watson.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Hardcore Chronicles? Did you see John Watson?
Yeah.
Man, he's like legitimate New Yorker.
Oh yeah,
he's talking with the Kangol hat. He's like real, like you can tell the real New York dudes doing those interviews.
That documentary is on Amazon Prime.
That's a great documentary.
Wait, what's it called?
The New York Hardcore Chronicles.
Okay,
it's really good.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
Your brother knows Drew. Drew Stone did it.
He was singer for Antidote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your brother did an episode of the 10 questions or whatever. 5 is it 5 questions?
I think it's 10.
10. Yeah, your brother did an episode. Drew Stone, the guy that did the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, your brother did an episode of that. It's good. Yeah, like everybody. I mean, not everybody, but
Yeah,
New
he asked
York.
them like, "What's their first show? The first bands they were in,
dude,
all that stuff."
It's Hardcore Dad's usually the last one. Do you think Hardcore is dead?
What did he say?
I don't remember what your brother said. The only thing I really remember ever about that is Drew Stone asked, and I know if Jonathan watches this, I always talk to him about this because he says I know he won't, but he has. I love Craig Ahead because Craig Ahead was in. Well, he's in Sick of It All. He was in Straight Ahead. He was in Agnostic Front, but Craig Ahead, I love him. And they asked Craig Ahead if he ever like banged a skinhead chick. He goes, "Yeah, I might have out in the Midwest, out in the garage. I bent her over a bag of kitty litter and gave it to her." I love it. Just how he said, he goes, "I bent her over a bag of kitty litter." I said that to your brother. I go, "Yeah, I bent a skinhead chick." He knew right away. He goes, "Craig Ahead." Your brother knew it.
That's what's
Sorry,
up.
Jana, but I had to tell that story. I know, I feel weird.
It's all good.
No, but it was just, I love that story. Man, you got to go back and watch Craig Ahead's on. It's just how he says it.
They have so many
With his
people
New York
that they've interviewed.
accent. He goes, "Yeah, I might have been over a bag of kitty litter."
Yeah, they talked to Harley,
Oh, they
John
do.
Joseph,
Yeah, they talked to them all.
Shaka Malik, like pretty much everybody.
They talked to Vinny, Jimmy Gestapo, everybody. It's a great thing. It's a great. Well, yeah, they talked to
Walter
Forget about
Schleifels.
fucking Quicksand, man. Quicksand.
Gorilla Biscuits.
Gorilla Biscuits, Rival Schools.
Oh, dude, everything he touched, everything he ever touched.
And he produced a lot of the later. Did you guys ever listen to Title Fight?
I've heard of them.
He did a lot of their later records.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
I fuck with them.
And Tiger's Jaw, I think. I could be wrong about the Tiger's Jaw. But
Speaking of Tigers, there was that band out of Syracuse when Tigers fight.
Yeah.
Do you remember them? They were
Yeah.
good.
Mike
man.
DC. John
Was that who it
Carlson,
was?
yeah.
That was a good band.
Dude,
did they ever
Damnation
play a
was
show? Because they were supposed
I
to
don't
play
know
a
if they
show
ever
at the
played a
Westcott, but they
show.
never
I don't
actually
know.
played.
Remember Matt designed a shirt for him?
No.
He
I
did.
had that
wrote-
CD or whatever.
He
It
drew
was
the
like
flyer
it was
for
only
it,
like
too.
4 songs, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah.
It was
I think
good
there's
though.
2 on Tigers Fights albums or
Is there? Okay.
EPs, but dude, Mike DC was the best vocalist.
Damnation
dude.
AG. Do you ever
Was such
ever
a
listen to
melodic-
Damnation
I
AG?
never really got
During the
into
Hungry
it.
Charlie's
So good,
days,
dude.
and I'm
so good.
John McCaig did most of the shows there. I just managed Hungry Charlie's,
Yeah.
so like I didn't have anything.
You were
to
the
do with-
manager?
Yeah, I was the
Managed it
manager
right
when all
into
that
the
went
ground.
down.
No shit.
No,
You
I was
got
the
a lot of
manager.
stories of that.
Yeah,
man.
no, I mean, and I didn't ever like have anything to do with John shows or Keith. And
Oh, okay.
well, I worked there and I like did the deals with John, but I never like brought.
He was the
bands
one
in.
that booked the show.
John booked
okay.
the show, yes, and then they had Keith and I forget Ryan. They did the other
Ryan
like
Hacks and Keith.
Yeah.
Ryan,
they did
Ryan
that.
Dunn?
no, they did the
Oh, okay.
original. The original Hellfest was at.
Oh, no, I was
Hungry
thinking of Matt.
Charlie's.
Matt Dunn.
Is it Ryan Canavan who's Hex?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hacks,
Yeah,
Ryan
yeah.
Canavan.
But they did the original Hellfest was that Hungry Charlie's, but it wasn't called Hellfest. I don't know if they did, but that's when the gunshot. You were worked that day. You remember the kid came to confront Earth Crisis and he fired a gun at him up in the.
My brother remembers that better than I do.
Up in
I was
the
probably in the
up in
walk-in
the
cooler
alley
counting fucking
or
cans.
drinking. No, you weren't counting cans. You were probably drinking Mississippi mud. But I forget what I was saying.
Is
but
there any more background to that gun story?
all I remember is
All
there
right,
was some
Lucy.
beef between a hardcore kid. I mean, I could have some of this wrong, but there was a beef between the kid that used to be a hardcore kid, and then he became like a drug dealer down in Florida. And there was some beef between him and some of the guys in Earth Crisis.
Holy
he showed
shit.
up at the show, and Earth Crisis, like, they didn't give a shit. Like, those dudes were legit. They would fight. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
They would.
Yeah.
They went up to confront him, and that motherfucker fired like 5 shots off. And I remember we shut the show down because we heard gunshots. I remember Jeff Chase. He used to run the security for John, and he would do security for us. I mean, he worked for like John and Keith and them because I didn't want our bouncers working. Our bouncers didn't understand the show.
Right.
You know what I'm
It's like,
saying?
who are these kids out there
Yeah,
fighting?
so,
What the freak?
So Jeff Chase, he was a hardcore kid, and he had some hardcore dudes that would just run security. You know, they were
Yeah.
legit dudes. They knew what was real.
Yeah,
what
I know
wasn't.
that guy.
Yeah, if
He's
it was
not-
a
yeah.
fighter, was just
Yeah.
dancing. You know what I mean? So I was all good with them having their own security guys in there because, you know, all of a sudden, I heard the gunshots. I'm running up. Jeff Chase, because Hungry Charlie's, I don't know if you ever went to a show. show there. It was downstairs.
I heard, yeah, it was really low ceiling.
Yeah,
and
low
everything.
ceilings. Well, Jeff came running down, like, guy shooting guns. So I went running up. And next thing you know, the cops came. So we shut the show down. And they did an investigation. They picked up the bullet shells and shit. And
so he just
the guy
shot,
got arrested.
So he
I think he shot
in
up
the air.
in the air. Yeah, trying to scare him. And the kid got arrested, and the show went on.
Holy
we started
fuck.
the show back up, and I don't really know what happened there. I don't know what the beef was. Exactly. I just know what I saw.
Yeah, that's
Probably
crazy.
Chris Weikman.
No, it wasn't Chris. Chris was in the band then.
I mean, the beef was probably with Chris
Oh,
Weikman.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Chris
You know
Weikman.
that. You know him. Yeah, I don't know.
Got below, baby.
But no, there was a bunch of good shows back then. John McCaig put on a lot of good shows there.
Yeah.
My favorite probably, and I know a lot of dudes don't like them, is H2O on their second album. Came out on Epitaph and they toured, and I love H2O, but I know a lot of dudes don't like them, but they put on a great show. H2O, Toby puts on a good show all the time, but fuck, Path of Resistance played there on New Year's Day. Nobody knew they were going to play, you remember? And then they came up and they did the song and it went crazy. Earth Crisis recorded.
I just listened to the Oath That Keeps Me Free.
Oh, that's a great album.
That's a great one.
I love it, and I love that DJ on the album cover. Everybody was supposed to wear black sweatshirts, and he showed up with a white sweatshirt.
Oh, you're thinking of Who Dares Wins.
Oh, Who Dares? Yes,
Yeah.
Who Dares? Yes,
Yeah.
the first album, the first
Hardest album cover
And
of
that's
all
it's a
time.
great album.
Standing in like some like scummy
beat
alley.
up factory.
Yeah.
It was an old burn
Yeah, and
up
they're all
factory.
like this.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
fucking
And
ski
DJ
mask
has
on.
the white
X'd
sweatshirt.
up.
Everybody else
Yeah.
has the black. Yeah. DJ was my first roommate. When I moved to Syracuse, him and John Taylor, they called me up in Auburn. And
John Taylor. So
Yeah,
John
I just
Cat
saw
knows
John Taylor. John Taylor was just at the show with Carl at Municipal Waste. He showed up with Carl at Municipal
Carl
Waste.
Buechner?
Yeah, when I was hanging out and back with those guys
I don't
the
really
whole
remember
time.
him, but
Okay.
Camp used to live with him on Ostrom. I think.
Probably, yeah, John. But what was I saying? What was I saying? I forgot. You fucked me up.
Your DJ's
Hungry
first
Charlie's.
roommate.
Oh yeah, DJ's first roommate. No,
Oh,
we were
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
DJ with his white sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I was just saying he was my first roommate. out in
Hardest
Syracuse.
album cover ever.
It was a
And
great
I still
album.
rock that album.
Oh yeah, and you know what else was a good album, and they recorded it there was
Prayer for a
Christ-
Fallen Angel.
Oh no, I was gonna say Earth Crisis is
The Oath That
live
Keeps Me
album.
Free.
Oath That Keeps Me Free.
Yeah, free, and that was recorded there.
Awesome. My brother's all over Firestorm.
Yeah, but they had to redo Firestorm. You remember?
Oh, really?
You remember? Everybody laughed. Because something happened with the soundboard during Firestorm, so they had to redo.
Oh yeah,
you remember?
like 5 dudes.
It was like us.
Yeah.
We were there cleaning up.
I remember.
And they redid Firestorm because something happened to the soundboard on the last song.
I do remember that.
And
And I can hear my brother's fucking high pitched voice.
no, but they recorded that there. Sick of It All
I
played
saw
there.
Dead Guy there.
That guy was a great show there.
Show.
Sick of It All played there.
Did
a
you
few
see
times.
Crown of Thorns there?
Yeah, Crown of Thorns. Oh, that's the best story because we always would turn the taps off because that was John's thing because it was a straight edge show. So we had like 20 taps at the back bar. Well, John always wanted me to unhook the beer taps. Like he just didn't want me to say I wasn't selling beer. I'd have to go back and unhook them all.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you hit the taps, nothing would come out. Well, I think Crown of Thorns, maybe Madball. I'd have to ask Farrakhan. Farrakhan probably, that's what I call Jonathan Farrakhan. But I'd have to ask him because that dude is like a freaking encyclopedia of hardcore. He remembers every show, everything. I don't remember it. It all just mixes up in my old brain. But, and I remember those guys coming up. Marauder was there.
Oh, that's a hard ass show.
Yeah, it was,
Holy
yeah.
fuck.
And John normally doesn't book those shows, but he had to because they were like touring with Earth Crisis or something. So he had to book them.
Yeah.
And I remember those guys all coming up, like Danny Diablo or whatever, the guys from Crown of Thorns and Marauder, asking me for beers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like,
So how'd you do that?
I just gave it to
oh,
them.
okay.
I wasn't going to, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say no to them.
I was giving them
Like,
beers.
yeah, here.
I just said, keep it
They're
down.
weed heads, big time. Marauder?
Yeah. I just was like, I was giving them bottles. Just keep it down below, and this and that. And I remember John came up and said something. I'm like, listen,
what are you going to do?
These dudes want beers. You remember like when Marauder and Crown of Thorns played and they wanted beers and we were giving them out of the cooler? Because your brother would know this story better than me, but John would not book those guys. But he had to, McCaig, I think he had to because they were torn with Earth Crisis, weren't they? Right. So he had to book them, and I remember they came up and wanted beers and shit, and I'm like, I'm not going to say no to those dudes.
Very scary guys.
Yeah, but I remember the one dude that had the braids, a girl passed out.
Jorge.
Yeah, Is that who it was? Yeah. A girl passed out. Marauder, right? Yeah, a girl passed out just from dancing. And I was shitting my pants. We brought her in. And that motherfucker was like an ambulance guy for fire FDNY.
Really?
Yeah, so he came in.
EMT.
Yeah, EMT and all that came in because the cops showed up because they got a call. And they showed up down there, but he already had her awake and everything. And I'm like, phew, because...
That's
I didn't
awesome.
know. Yeah, she just from the heat because it used to get so hot down there, and she just from dance and stuff. She passed out, but he worked for the FDNY and like got her revived and was like just gave her.
I did not know that. Yeah. Podcast exclusive.
Yeah, so I'm not sure which one it was, but it was the guy with the braids. One of the guys with the braids.
Most likely Jorge.
Yeah, I would assume. Braids. I saw him on a Hate 5-6 video not too long ago. Still rocking the braids, but I think he's the only one.
I think it's just him, and he just has a bunch of dudes.
Or it might have been a dude like I was saying, like it could have been a dude from Crown of Thorns with braids. I just remember it was somebody with braids and your brother knows who it was because I told him. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's so and so."
You gotta get Buske on the next.
Yeah, you do because I don't know much about that era.
Reach out.
I don't know much about that era of New York hardcore. Like I'm like agnostic front cause for alarm.
Okay.
And
late 90s.
Breakdown.
No, I'm early. Yeah. I'm like mid 80s or late 80s. Early but what you're talking about, I only know them because they played at Hungry Charlie's. I don't know much about them. I mean, I know their stuff, but I don't I was older at that time. I wasn't like I was when I was 18, 19. You know what I mean? I was into everything. Oh, the best stories about that shit. You remember Rick the Life? Rick the Life would bring his traveling thing and take up like a huge area Hungry Charlie's.
Oh yeah, all his merch and
sell all his stuff. You remember that?
Is this when he used to just bring a boombox with him and
play shows? He had like this whole he would take up this whole area every show. And like Dirty Rick. That's what I think. Before it was Rick the Life, it was Dirty Rick, wasn't it? I think.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I think it was Dirty Rick because Kurt Woods we'd call Dirty Curdy because Kurt had the dreads like Rick. He loved Rick.
Dirty Curdy.
Dirty like Curdy's dad. He killed himself, but we'd call him Dirty. I know he did. He hung himself. But we called him Dirty Curdy because he loved.
Why do you have to say it that way?
He loved Dirty Rick. Well, I mean, he was my boy too. I loved Kurt. I miss him. He's been dead a long time. I mean, Kurt was a good dude. He just ran into some issues. Got caught up in the game.
Yeah.
We just called him Dirty Curdy. DJ actually made up that name, Dirty Curdy.
How did you meet DJ? When did you?
I met him. I met DJ on the SU Hill with Luby.
Okay.
Me and Luby used to come to Syracuse for shows and skate. And all of a sudden, one time we were skating with somebody downtown. He was a punk rock kid. And he's like, "Hey, you ever go up to the beach?" We're like, "What's the beach?" He goes, "Up on the SU Hill, the cement blocks." And we're like, "No, we never been up there." And he's like, "That's where all the punk rockers hang out, and the skins and skaters and hardcore kids." We went up there and there was like 40 kids there hanging out, drinking and everything. And we're like, "Oh my God, this is awesome." So me and Luby started going up there like every night, driving over. We'd skate and go up and hang out and go to shows. And then DJ lived in Camden then. I think he was from Camden. He'd come to Syracuse all the time too, and he was a skinhead. He'd always wear his boots and his jacket, shaved head. And he was like, he knew all that. He like kind of brought New York hardcore to Syracuse, and he called me, him and John Taylor called me, and they needed a roommate. And that's just how it happened, like that. They just needed an extra guy to pay rent. And I actually basically turned I moved out of Auburn over to Columbus Street. and it was basically like a dining room that I put up a curtain in and put my bed and dresser.
That sounds like his old apartment.
Yeah, you know, it was punk
Osborne
rock.
Street.
Yeah, it was punk rock. It was just punk rock. Enough, 3 of us, you know. And
you probably saved a lot of money too.
that way. Yeah, I mean, well, none of us really made money. We were making. I got a job at Hungry Charlie's. John worked at Bonsai Pizza, and DJ worked at like the good food store at like SU, and we were maybe making $80 a week, you know. So you know, I mean, just barely surviving, you know, paying rent and eating, but we were living what we wanted to live.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it was like you were just every day was just, you know, whatever. It was punk rock. You know what I mean? You just went down to the beach, or you went up to the cemetery and drank. I mean, obviously he didn't, but he would go up to the cemetery and hang with us. He didn't give a shit, you know, because Oakwood Cemetery, like around 10, 11 o'clock, we'd get the last to buy the beer, and then we'd go up to the cemetery, and there's that big thing up there, that hill, and you'd go up there and drink.
Really? Have
you ever been to Oakwood Cemetery?
No.
Oh, it's awesome. It's right by SU. It's it's before Manley Fieldhouse. It's a huge old. If you think Fort Hill's cool,
Fort Hill is cool.
It is cool. No, that's what I'm saying. Oakwood is like. Well, you got to check Oakwood Cemetery.
Yeah, we never really ventured out of Auburn. We were more like Auburn. Like we want to.
But no,
like,
Oakwood. Yeah,
we fuck with Auburn. Yeah. Like we're Auburn. Fuck you.
No, that's awesome. No, I know Auburn had a cool scene. Like you had.
We'd go to shows and fucking rush back to Auburn.
It was like huge. What was Thad's band's name there?
If Hope Dies.
Yeah, that was like they made some footprints for Auburn. You know. Jackson, right? Yep. No, they made some footprints for the town.
Yeah.
Definitely. And enough is enough. You know, Shane and them, they kind of got.
Sacred Pledge. That was the.
Was that another band?
Oh, that was our, like, it wasn't our band, but it was the band that we loved.
Oh, was
people.
it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Underside
was our time. It was Auburn. Great. It was like our time. It was Auburn's like melodic, like kind of like a DC Fugazi, you know, style.
Yeah, I can tell with that name. Was Greg's, like Underside,
that was Greg Dobko, Shane's dad, was in that band. Andy Camp, Mark Lynn, who's still like he moved out to California, and he was actually like in some like post-punk bands out there.
Mark's still, I mean...
he still plays music.
Yeah, he was on stage the other day with Billy Joe Armstrong.
Yeah, Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day.
Actually, John Camp was out
there. Really?
Yeah, because he actually moved out there during that lookout time, like 89, 90. And he actually played with some, like, he was in a band with, I don't know if you're... I mean, it was back at that time. I don't know what label they were on. I don't think they were Lookout, but it was a band called Monsula. Yeah. Monsula was a good band for that time.
Bill, I think he still plays with...
Mark played with that, but Mark. I remember Mark's said Billy Joe Armstrong. He knew all the guys from Rancid, like Tim Armstrong and
Matt. In Oakland,
Lars.
Matt
Mark was part of the scene.
Yeah, Mark was part of the scene. Mark, Matt Freeman, which was Matt McCall. I think his name was Matt McCall on Operation Ivy, right?
I'm not sure.
Because it's the same bassist, but I think
so. The bassist for Rancid was a bassist for Op Ivy.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, but because you wouldn't if you didn't know it, because his name was Matt McCall on the Operation Ivy album, but it's actually Matt Freeman. What? And it's Tim Armstrong and Matt Freeman from Op Ivy.
That's what's up.
My brother fucks with that like era. Like
see, that was my era. That was my era.
I remember playing pool.
Oh, Operation Ivy was awesome, man. When Eric Lynn played that for me the first time, I'm like, what is this? Ska-core? What is this? Ska-core? I'm like, this is like the best. I couldn't believe it. It was so different.
The Scatolites are, I don't know, there was a couple, the meters was, I don't know, some fucking, I had a couple.
No, but it was like, it was totally different for the time. There was ska. I mean, there was the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, but Op Ivy was like different.
Oh yeah, it was insane.
It's like the second wave of ska, probably, right? Here.
Yeah, because there was regular ska, like the Specials.
And then there was like Real Big Fish. That was like third wave.
I listened to Save Ferris.
Goldfinger. But like Op Ivy got that like ska core popular. Like what's the big punk band that I like them. They're like from New York City and they're kind of dirtbaggish looking. Leftover Crack. Leftover Crack. What's the band before Leftover Crack? It's the same guy.
I have no idea.
It's the same singer. But they're like, I mean, they're ABC No Rio like style, like just dirtbag, like scumcore. You know what I mean? They like wear the black. They wear the black combat hats. They're dirty dreadlocks.
Oh,
You're good.
Oh shit! I just did what you did though. I spilled my.
It's all right. It's all right.
This carpet is made for fucking soaking up beer.
It's all right.
I think his name's Giza or something. But Leftover Crack. What was the band before Leftover Crack? But that ska core, that Op Ivy started that, man. That was like just different. I love it. I'm gonna have to look on my thing when I go down there who it was. But.
Hell yeah.
Going on 3 hours.
What do you... Should we just wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so. Wrap it up. 3 hours. I think that's...
Yeah, because he's going to talk to the cats for another 2 hours.
Yeah, we don't have to end this hang.
Oh, yeah.
But we can end the podcast.
I think I heard all those bands from Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Goldfinger, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking I'm a Superman.
Now he's got me thinking, what's that predecessor band to Leftover Crack?
I would have no idea. I never listened to any of that weird shit.
Definitely listened to Leftover Crack, but I don't know.
Definitely smoked some.
Same. That's the best crack.
It's free.
There's no such thing as leftover crack.
So, yeah, let's just wrap it up. We're going to have these guys on again.
Yeah,
it's not like
they're going to be frequent guests.
We're not saying goodbye.
It's a see you later.
It's a see you later.
So long.
Yeah.
That's how we roll here in the podcast.
Yep.
This is sick.
Yeah.
I know.
We gotta show the folks out there that board.
With my flash? No, Stinneford has to upstage me.
I don't know. I think yours is great too. It's just
say greater. Just say better.
It is greater.
The best flash, most fantastic,
No,
biggest flash.
No, fuck it then.
Flashiest flash of all time.
Yeah,
show the peeps that board close up.
That's hot.
That is dope. And it's not
cool.
thrashed yet.
We've been
Good shape.
graced with some awesome guests that have come with some sick merch. I think the only person that didn't come with merch was Nick.
But we didn't tell him. I don't think we told him
That
to.
was pre we want shit.
Yeah. Sansi would have brought some sick merch.
Here you go. I gotta play it for you.
Oh shit!
Come on,
This is
Tim.
like you gotta check this out.
We're saying our goodbyes, Tim.
Oh,
Just
all right.
say goodbye real quick.
But that doesn't mean the
Yeah.
No,
Doesn't
I'll show you
Yeah.
after.
yeah.
Because I gotta go to bed. So I was
This
just
is
looking
Tim
at
Stinneford.
Thank you. I gotta work tomorrow.
Tim Stinneford's the man.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
We're very
Cheers.
pumped to have him on. He was one of the people that was on our list when we started this shit.
So, do you have any final thoughts for all the people out there?
No, I just had a great time. Thanks for having me on. And
You're always welcome
sorry
back.
I probably babbled on about
No.
punk rock and politics
No,
and
there's a lot-
skateboarding.
No.
That
We eat
probably
this shit
half
up.
of it's bullshit, but it's
Hey.
as I remember it. It's as I remember
I'm
it.
like, I said some bullshit, so you have to fact check me with someone who's more OG. There's like, there's someone more OG.
What?
Yeah, Tim.
Well, I
Can't
can't
be.
be. Said it was more OG than me. You
Now you
know?
gotta find Glenn Hawk, Brooks.
Glenn lives
whatever.
Glenn
Yeah.
lives in Portland, Oregon. Is a brick mason.
I know he's got a good.
All right, quit your job and fly out here to talk to us and
Well,
drink.
maybe
drink,
we can find Mary
drink
Brooke.
beer.
She lives somewhere
I
around
see
here.
her once every 5 years, but
Hand it, Joe.
single-handedly-
These fuckers are going
Yeah, I know.
on.
All right,
Go
y'all.
on forever.
Peace.
What?